Good evening, one and all. Welcome back once again to Notte Eterna, home of the Eternal Night. I'm your host, Kevin, the U.S. ambassador for Notte Eterna here in the States, bringing it over from Italy and bringing you all along with me. Thank you all so very much for tuning in tonight. If this is your first time, welcome to the night. Welcome to the struggle, as it were. And if you are returning, thanks for wandering into the dark with us yet again. We are going to be continuing a tale that we started last week. We're going to be continuing a story in the Blood Domain. And we'll find out a little bit more about that momentarily. But for now, I want to welcome you all to the channel and say thanks. So let's go ahead. Let's meet the fine and beautiful cast that we have that's going to be telling this story with us tonight. They were here last time. They're going to be here for this entire arc. And they're great folks. And I'm sure you will just love everything we're about to do. So let's start with, right here on my side, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Adrian. How are you, sir? Welcome back.
Good evening. Hello. I'm very thankful to be here. Tonight, my character is going to be Cade. He's a wandering knight of the dark, searching for that feeling of home, riding along with his companions through the darkness, trying to save an old compatriot's daughter from the forces of evil. Looking forward to seeing where the story comes up next.
Just any other Friday for you, right?
It's a normal Friday.
Excellent. Well, yes, you are in good hands. Thanks for being back. I can't wait to see what else you bring to the table with Cade tonight. So it's going to be a good time. Let's go to the other side of me, the other myth and legend, Beth. Hello, welcome back. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. I'm excited for this. I had a ton of fun getting to know everybody's characters last week, so this is a delight. And tonight I'm going to continue playing Isra, who is a Karevi warlock, and she's got some stuff that we'll see. It's going to be fun.
Nice. Well, excellent. Yeah, Isra was a little bit fun to see last week, so I'm really curious to see what else that she's going to be up to, because all kinds of cool abilities we haven't really tapped into yet, so I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for being back, Beth. Really appreciate you. Jumping down to the bottom row, we're going to start right off to the side with Deb. Hi, Deb. Welcome back.
Hello.
Not a man in Texas, but
not a man in Texas.
Our good friend who off air was the only one who understood my reference to one of the greatest television shows ever created. But that's a different story. Welcome.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Yeah.
I'm Deb. I'm playing Flora. She is a dance macabre bard, and she is wandering into the place where she was raised in the Blood Domain and nervous about it. But she's got some cool abilities that she has grown over the years, and so has a little bit more power to fight back now than she did when she was young.
Excellent. Well,
and more importantly, she has a very creepy doll hanging
Indeed.
from her side
Yes.
to instill fear and dread into everyone that might have, done her ill in her past.
Indeed.
Yes. Let's not forget the creepy doll. I have a feeling it'll be something. It's we got to find a way to make it important, right? It's could be good stuff. So yeah, thanks, Deb, for being back. We're looking forward to more fun with Flora tonight. And finally, down on the bottom, coming in as a player yet again, producer here on the stream, Miko. Welcome back, sir, with your glorious mane and your very studious background.
Yes, thank you. Glad to be here. Pushing, all of the buttons and whatnot is fun and all, but it is nice to occasionally hop on the screen itself and, join this kind of an illustrious crew in the role-playing side of it. And so I am very happy to be here with these glorious people on screen that you see before you. Tonight, I will continue to play Kalim, the Cleric of Darkness, who is perhaps he is the most dead of the party.
Yes, I think that's true.
And hopefully that's gonna stay that way, that no one else gets more dead than him. He's gonna do his damnedest to make sure that that does not happen.
What a team player. I love it. So yes, we shall see if that happens, because in the Blood Domain it is dangerous and it is a place where anything could happen. So who knows? But yes, I'm the final person rounding out the group here. I'm Kevin. Like I said, I'm the U.S. ambassador here. I'm also the dungeon master for tonight, and hopefully I will survive this as well, but who knows? Because every story has its own twists and turns. So let's all take a moment to take a deep breath, and let's find ourselves walking back once more into the eternal night here on Notte Eterna with Blood Domain, Chapter 2, The Blood Calls. In the Blood Domain in recent time, ever since the sun set 161 years ago for the last time, the Hijraki, or the High Vampires, have been ruling with an iron fist. The Hijraki have, in this time, cultivated a herd that they call the Fence, a group of lesser beings, as they would say it, that they have enslaved and decided to do what they will. One of the stretches of the Fence's enslavement, unfortunately, has been a new development in which a small town to the southern border of the Blood Domain, Tarash, has been inflicted monthly with the taking and culling of young women, 4 at a time, but most recently a 5th young woman was taken, a daughter of a gentleman who knew the party and has now tasked them with trying to make sure that she is safe and secured. Gregor is a man who is aware that what he is doing is considered treason, and if the Hijraki and their court were to find out what he or his companions are doing, it will be punishment most foul. But that doesn't dissuade our heroes. When last we saw them, they arrived in the Blood Domain, and seeking out to try to right to the wrongs that were caused here, they fought against one of the lesser nobles, a young man who they quickly dispatched along with his retinue. And now they are dealing with the aftermath of said attack. For in this land, it is known that the Hijraki are not to be opposed. The number of people who have attempted to do such a thing can be counted on one hand, and those who have survived such an ordeal can be counted on even less. So, let us go ahead and dive back in properly. We will pick up almost immediately after the end of last session. We will find our heroes standing in town center square of Tarash. They are surrounded by the townsfolk, a cadre of individuals that are downtrodden. Their clothes, although once nice, have now fallen into ruin, much like their look. There is a forlornness here with the people who are hoping to find something better. And now that they see that these 4 people have openly slain one of the Hijraki and seemingly stopped the taking of the 4 young women that were to be the gift this evening, they are renewed with hope. As the 4 of you stand here, for a moment, Flora, you find yourself looking over towards a site in the distance. It is a series of spired buildings, the City of Spires, as you know it, that is just on the horizon, close enough to still be ominous, but far enough away to not have its grasp fully reached here. You remember your mother, and there is a little bit of a bittersweet thought in that, because although she did risk her life to get you out of the Blood Domain, she is still here, and you hope that she is well. What thoughts are going through your mind right now as you watch the 4 young women on the stage being untied and being brought down to rejoin their families?
Flora is thinking about the ways that fate and other people can change your current course and your future. She's thinking about how the path for these 4 women has suddenly sort of diverged from what it seemed to be just a few moments ago for them. They were about to head into the Hijraki realm, and they've been saved from that. So just the ways that people and fate can intervene and change destiny.
Absolutely. So as you think about this, and you think about the fact that there is a change in the air, as you mentioned, there is an unheard song that catches your ear. The Dance Macabre is a song, is a dance, is a little bit of a dramatic overture that you can hear in the moments when things are quiet. And in this moment, there is a different type of sound, a staccato of notes that pluck along what once was discordant. It's almost like the song is changing slightly because the 4 of you have intervened. The song specifically catches, you notice, on the wind next to your friend Kalim. And Kalim, you find yourself inexplicably looking towards the young women as well. And in that moment, there's some sort of gnawing feeling in the back of your mind, almost like there's a memory that's trying to surface, but you don't quite pull it back. For Kalim, there was a little bit of a loss in your past as well, because when you died and returned, a lot of your memories, your persona, who you once were lost in that moment. But could you perhaps tell us what is going through your mind now? You are a stoic man, but that does not mean that you do not have thoughts. So what is it that you're thinking when you look upon your friends and upon what's happened here?
More than anything else, I think Kalim is trying to rationalize in his mind the best way of letting these people down easy. We're not here to be their saviors. The life that they live is going to be probably very unchanged by us. And he knows how dangerous such hopes can be in the darkness. And I think, given all that is happening around, he will drop the daylight spell that is still active. It would normally be active for quite a long time, and in this case, I think it is he thinks that it is probably best to drop it, and he is ever mindful as he watches the people around him for any potential dangers to his companions, not necessarily out of like malice or someone intending to harm or something like that, but even if it is someone just being a little too overzealous in their hope and whatnot, and he is ready to call upon the darkness at the slightest moment that it might be necessary.
Absolutely. So the four of you stand here, and again, you are surrounded by the townsfolk. They are coming in. There are sounds of crying, sounds of cheering almost, as these people are celebrating the four of you. And Cade, in this moment, you're no stranger to being celebrated and having people come to you. I mean, you're a man of the world. So what is it that you're thinking? What's going through your mind after all the events that's happened here?
Well, since we're picking up exactly where we left off, I'm probably still bleeding. That's probably the first thought in my head. Like, oh God, still bleeding. The cheering's nice. First thing that comes into Cade's head is he is a hunter, and he's a wandering knight, but he specifically slays undead, and so his job isn't finished. So he wants to. His first, even with all the cheering, is to make sure that the vampire that we slayed stays slayed, and will perform the rites, even in front of the audience, to make sure, however it is in this realm, whether you have to cut off its head, put holy wafers in its mouth, burn the corpse, whatever we have to do, my ranger would know how to do it, and probably decapitate the vampire, maybe put it on a pole as a warning, you know.
I think they had turned to ash because they had died in the
ash?
daylight spell.
The daylight spell?
If I recall
Correct,
correctly.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That is correct. Yep.
I remember there was some ash.
It's a great idea,
yeah.
though. It's very, very, very stirring. But
I'll take some of the ash and,
Oh.
you know. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I will make sure, just kind of like make sure that everything's done, that there's no other vampires, any undead that are creeping around, using this chance to kind of pounce. I know there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of cheering, but that's when I would strike too. So I wouldn't want to be made an example of for those who did strike back the powers that be. So I'm like, okay, just trying to keeping a clear mind, and then I'm taking my helmet off, just to kind of have an easier continence to the people. While I will slowly walk back to my horse. Did the vampire's rapier turn to ash as well? Otherwise,
No, the vampire who was in charge, he did have a very fanciful looking rapier that he did attack with, and did seem to give him a little bit of a, shall we say, a little bit of a quicker speed
was
to his
fast.
attack. And
Indeed.
yeah, no, it's lying on the ground right where he dissolved.
Okay. Well, then I will snatch it up, put it on the horse. As I walk close to Luna, my white horse, I will rest my forehead on my horse's forehead to reassure the horse that I am indeed fine. My horse worries about my health more than I do. And then
Certainly
look
more than
over
your cleric
towards-
does.
yeah, indeed. Like, I'm bleeding here, cleric. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you're good.
And you'll live. And then look towards my companions with that kind of silent nod of like, y'all kicked ass, that kind of per usual. And then just kind of stand by my horse with my hand on my bloody wound and just waiting for it to heal
Okay.
slowly.
Definitely. Just off to the side, nearest where the 4 young women were displayed, I guess you could say, on the small little staging area, Isra, you stand there, and as you stand looking on all of this as well, there are distant voices that also whisper things into your mind as they recede away from you from the recent channeling that you did. Being a medium, you sometimes share time with these voices, and you recognize there's a voice that you don't really remember hearing before mixed amongst them, and it takes you a moment to realize that the voice is coming from without. There is a man who is approaching, and as he approaches, you see that he was near the stage when the young women were being displayed. During the fight that transpired, he alone didn't make any move to run away or to intervene or to do anything like that. He's just kind of stood by the stage, and now you see why. He has a very despondent, very sorrowful look in his eye. He looks like he's a man who's, for lack of a better description, he's been drained of his vitality. He just looks like he is a man who has just seen a lot, suffered a lot, and as he slowly steps forward towards you, you see that this man, he has a small pin on his lapel. It's a strange symbol that you don't remember seeing before. It almost looks like a shield with a stylized red gem in the center of it. And he walks forward and sees you, and who exactly sent you here? What have you done? Do you know what will happen that you have done this? And he seems to be confused for a moment, and he just trails off.
Well, we hope that what will be done is that these girls will go home to their families and be safe. We were sent here by a friend. We actually weren't here for this at all. We were just passing by. Why? What does this mean? They're dead. What can they do to us?
They can do everything to us. They kept us safe here, and you have ruined that. He looks around like he's trying to find something, and as he's trying to find something, there is a townsperson nearby that says to you, "The mayor's not well. He's been in league with them all this time. He openly has given himself to them to be fed upon. He let the girls be taken all this time. Please, cast him down like you did those foul creatures. Save us from his madness as well."
Whoever it is that is speaking like that, I will step towards them intimidatingly and just stare them down until they quiet.
Yes, they stop mid-sentence and just look at all of their words, almost their breath are taken from them in this moment of your really dark countenance, your very pale skin, your glowing eyes that just give away any sense of semblance of the fact that you're being gentle right now. They know you mean business. They stop talking, And the mayor looks to them. He looks back to you, Isra. I did what I had to do. They would have taken us all if I had not agreed to their terms. Do you not understand? He is the nephew of one of the High Court. He could have had us all killed, skinned alive in our beds. We are nothing to them. We are merely the fence. They own us, me, you, all of us here. Then he turns back to you, Isra, and he says, even you. Now that you four are here, they own you too.
Isra will take one of her daggers and hold it up to his throat and say, nobody points at me. Do not do this.
Easy, Isra. Easy.
It seems like we killed evil people? Are you evil, Mr. Mayor?
Evil is in the eye of the beholder. You can be
Yes.
seen as evil, threatening
Look at
me
my
with that.
eyes, Mr. Mayor. They're black.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want excuses from you. Sit down. We will talk. Stop bothering these people. Sit.
He sits down right on the ground. Doesn't even bother to be worried about the fact that it looks indignant to a guy who would be the mayor. You notice when he sits down with your passive perception, and also from where you are standing, Kalim, because your passive perception is ridiculously high. You also see that as he sits down, one of the sleeves on his overcoat pulls up slightly, and you can see a series of what looks to be puncture wounds, scars that are all down the inside of his forearm and onto the back of his hand, in his palm. And he doesn't make any move to try to cover it up. He just sits there and he stares at you, and he has a look of a man who's used to being cowed. This is a man who's used to being subservient. And so he doesn't fight any longer.
Flora sends Pandemonium over to just sit in front of him and glare at him so that he doesn't move, and Isra can slightly take her attention off of him for a little bit.
Oh, man, you're so beautiful. Look at him. All right. She looks to her friends. What do we do with him?
What do you mean? What do we do with him? He's the mayor of the town. Let him be.
I don't
We're not
like
here
him.
for him. Yes, but we're not here for him. We need to stay focused. We need to get Natalya back. All of this is, we need to be going. We've already been here too long. The longer we stay here, the more focused this town is going to be, the more hurt and pain we will bring upon this town. If Natalya's not here, then we need to leave.
If he is connected to them, then he may know where to go next to find Natalya.
Perfect.
Yes,
I
thank
don't-
you, Kalim.
I don't think we should leave him free. I think we should ask the townspeople what they think we should do with him.
If we were to
Mob
do
justice.
that right now, that would not be good. The emotions are too high in these people to make reasonable decisions about such things.
Their emotions are high for a reason, though.
Yes?
It's so much fun to make decisions when you're very emotional.
And almost as if on cue of what Isra just said, there is one of the parents of one of the girls who are being pulled down off the stage. Is a big strapping guy. He's probably some sort of laborer or someone maybe who is used to doing hard manual labor, because he's very broad-shouldered, very big. And he says, "We should kill him! He let this happen to our daughters! He let them all be taken! Kill him!"
At
I
that
will-
point, I will look at the mayor. Is he still sitting down on the ground?
He's still sitting on the ground.
All right. Well, I'll look down upon him, and it's like, can you lead us to where we need to go? As I look back towards the man that's heading his way, and then looking back down upon him, because it's like, whether or not you live or not is going to be basically your choice.
Okay. I want to do two things real quick. I'm going to have Cade make a persuasion roll. However, I want to have one of the other of you make an intimidation check, and we'll see the success of that intimidation check will determine if Cade has advantage or not on this persuasion roll.
Can I?
I'm sorry, or disadvantage or not, excuse me.
Can I do it because Pandemonium is sitting there?
Oh, let's do it.
Do
Yes,
it.
Pandemonium, your Yam Yam, your small little companion, silvery white color with a rainbow type of flourish down the back of his frills.
Not great.
So scary.
It was a 10.
A 10? Okay. So, Cade, you will make a persuasion roll at disadvantage. I misspoke a second ago when I said advantage was involved, so sorry about that. But
So while he's making that roll,
Yes.
I don't want to interact with the mayor in that portion of the thing, but I do want to step in front of the large man that's calling for the mayor's head, just to simply stop him from moving forward. I'm not trying to like intimidate him or stare him down like I did the other townsperson. It's more just to get him to stop, and if he does want to move forward, he'll have to contend with me.
Absolutely. Yeah, you do step in front of him, and he meets your gaze for a moment, but you can see this is a different feeling coming off of this guy. Whereas the other person you stopped from yelling was somebody who just was a random townsperson who was upset. This is someone who is a father. This is someone who had felt like someone that he loved was in danger. You connect with this on a level you don't understand, and it almost stirs feelings in you for a moment. But, Cade, what did you get for that roll?
13.
13. The mayor looks up at you, and he says, I will not betray the masters. My life will be forfeit. Their power is everywhere. Everywhere. And he's kind of caressing his wrist almost tenderly.
Watching him do that, I subconsciously rub my neck where I have a little bit of a bite mark myself.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, well, then stand up. Stand up.
He looks at confusion from you to Isra, then back to you, and then he stands up slowly.
He's in charge.
He stands up slowly in front of you,
Okay.
and he's looking down, kind of a little reluctant.
I will walk around him where I'm basically basically behind his shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
as I will speak into his ear, standing behind him, and be like, look ahead of you now. And basically motioning towards Philip and the man that's standing there for a moment, ready to rip him apart.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, do you want to know what power is? Look into that man's eyes.
He looks up and he does see the father of the girl, and he does seem to be that he is again cowed. He stares for a long moment, and then he eventually just breaks his gaze and looks away in shame.
It's like, I know that feeling that you feel, that shame. You don't have to live this way. Or you can die right now, filled with shame, and then I will push him towards the two gentlemen in front of me. Your choice.
He staggers for a moment but catches his footing, and it would seem almost conveniently, or perhaps even part of the dance. He's standing right next to Flora when he gets his footing, and he stops. And as he looks at the men and he goes to look back to Cade, his gaze falls across you for a second, Flora. And he stops. And he seems to recognize something about you. And he slowly starts to back away as if he's suddenly very afraid of you. And as he moves back, he bumps into that stage where the young women were. And he just looks around in confusion and panic. You can see there's sweat pouring down his face at this point. He looks like he is really, really worried, really disturbed. And he looks back and and he looks to you, Cade. I will take you to where they take the women, but I will not intervene. I will not fight the masters. I will not.
No one is asking you to fight the masters. Just lead us to where they're taking the women, and then you can go.
Yes. And he's looking at Flora now. His gaze is not breaking from her, and he just looks even more white than he did, because this is a man you could tell has been drained, fed upon. He's very very pale, very weak looking. Looks even more so now. And yes, I will do what you say. Yes.
Cade will walk up towards the man and grab him by the arm and very forcefully, like, not drag him, but like lead him. And I will place him on my horse.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pat Luna down and be like, make sure he doesn't escape. And then look back towards the rest of the crew, the rest of the party, as in like,
I will telepathically reach out to Isra. She knows she can't respond to this in the same way telepathically, and so she knows that he doesn't expect a response. But I will say, bring me the mayor's pin, please. Tear it from his collar. Do not let him have that dignity.
She won't turn to you. She'll turn directly to the mayor and start marching off, but you can hear as she's walking away her say, "Ooh, all right." And she goes over. She'll snatch it off of him. You say, "Thank you for this." And go back to Clem.
Flora sees it coming off of him and will message the mayor and say, "The time for reckoning has come. Your choices are now few."
He's looking around in panic, not knowing where that voice has come from, because we all have to keep in mind that Flora hasn't really said anything to these people yet, so he's not sure whose voice this is, but he does hear it, and he's a bit worried, and he's just looking around, and then his eyes meet yours again, and he just...
She just winks at him.
Okay.
Clem, as Isra approaches, Clem, without even turning towards her, just holds out his hand, expecting that she will place the token into his hand. And bearing in mind that he hasn't said a single word yet, so the man standing in front of him just saw this happen as if it was going to happen without instruction. And go ahead.
Isra, when she puts it in your hand, will just say, "I didn't think this was your style."
Takes the pin, holds it up to the man in front of him, and says, "This is not for you." And he places it into the man's hand, and he says, "This is for you to hand to whoever is going to be next, or whoever your people decide in the coming days. And know that this burden is heavy. Look what it did to him. Would you have expected a man of such weak will to stand up to those so much more powerful than him, even if it was to protect the innocent? Could you have done such a thing, were it not your daughter? If it had been a neighbor's daughter? Could you have stood up against such overwhelming force? Or would you have done whatever it took to survive, to ensure that your daughter survived? The burden is heavy. Whoever takes it should know that."
This man also seems to be cowed by your words, Kalim, because in you mentioning the fact that, would he have been strong enough to do such a thing, it's almost like he realizes, with the fact that he's standing here and there's all these other townsfolk behind him, that in a way, they all did fall to weakness as well. They let these girls be taken the previous months. And so there's a little bit of a self-reflection that they all have that definitely makes them realize how barbaric and wrong they've been in this moment. And because of that, the townsfolk seem to lose a lot of that luster that they had, a lot of that excitement, a lot of that anger, that rage is subsiding, and it's filled with just a morose feeling. There's a really heavy pall that falls over everybody. And the man just nods at you. Let's get the girls home. And he turns
as everyone starts to, like, you know, in this moroseness congregate and leave and whatnot, Kalim will reach out to a few of them telepathically as they are leaving, and very simply say, "The darkness tests us, but when we survive it, we come out stronger on the other side." Just to a handful of them.
Of course.
Obviously not expecting them to understand or anything in the moment, but... And then afterwards he will turn back to Isra. What was not my style?
Oh, the pin, I don't think it would have looked good with your face.
I would never
But
have...
that was impressive.
Alright. If you say so.
There are many other things that would look very good on you. Just, that's not it for you.
Okay. By the way, did Isra take injury in that fight or no? No?
Nope.
Okay. As we are turning to rejoin everyone, Kalim, seeing Flora's injury, will just very casually hold a hand forward with healing light glowing in it, and there is a distinct darkness that writhes through it, almost like pulsing veins of black. And he looks at her, almost his expression asking if she would like it.
That would be nice.
And he'll just do a second level cure wounds.
Kalim, you probably wouldn't see this because you're very focused. But when you cast the cure wounds and this very particular magic comes out, you see Isra gets a bit of just a twinge, just very quick across her face, and then she'll just keep, interacting with everybody.
You get back 16.
Thanks.
Kalim will look at Cade, who I'm assuming is seeing him do this, and he'll just kind of tilt his head to the side, not saying a word.
I will, Cade will look at him, look down at his bloody wound, look back at him, kind of give a,
Don't be mean.
Just shrug slightly and step forward and graze a quick healing hand across it. How injured is he? I don't remember how many points.
He got hit once. He lost 8 hit points.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's not gonna die.
Right. So he will get back 10 from a first level cure wounds.
And you notice, and it wouldn't be something that is very unusual because you've healed him many times before, that when you technically, due to, I wouldn't say what he is, but anytime you roll healing dice, you roll double the dice. I heal very quickly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a first level cure wound, so.
Yeah. I'm at full. He will
That's
give
good.
you a
That's
nod.
good to know, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he has injury. Kalim has injuries as well, but he's not healing them.
Okay. All right. And so this time goes by with you all recuperating, getting everything back to normal. The townsfolk have dispersed at this point, leaving you all alone with the mayor, who just stands next to Luna. He just looks, again, like a man lost, a man like perhaps he's not really sure what his next steps are going to be. And the moment is yours. You all said you kind of wanted to get going, but I mean, how is it that you guys are planning on doing? What is it that you guys wish to do? How do you want to strike out, as it were?
What time of night is it?
Basically, it would be what would be the equivalent of, and again, because we are in the land of Nier, where it is eternally night, this would be the equivalent of it is about to be like the end of the night, so it's basically going to be, if we want to think of it in terms of our real world terms, this would be basically right before bedtime, I guess you could say dusk or something like that.
Okay. My vote is to keep moving. I think we still have a bit of adrenaline from the combats, and I think the longer we stay in this town, the more of a target it will be. I think we should continue moving.
Agreed. How far away are we? Actually, he'll just ask Flora. How far till we reach Tarash?
It's not very far anymore. And then how long would it take, Kev?
Okay, maybe I should clarify real quick. This town that you guys are in now is Tarash, the city of spires. Is that where you're wishing to go?
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. No, that must be some confusion on my part. It is. You would remember it's roughly a day, a little bit less than a day, on foot. So I mean, with horses or with your carriage that you guys have, easily could be, we'll say, a little bit more than half of a day's travel. But it's going to a semi urbanized area. It's not like you guys are out in the woods anymore, I guess you could say.
Okay.
half a day at the fastest.
That is still too long. Then we should leave town, find some place just outside, and I will summon our tent for the evening. And provided that, he's looking at his companions and sees their facial expressions in agreement, he will he will face the direction where he knows David to be and telepathically tell him, bring the carriage.
Yeah, of course, I will definitely do that. You can count on me, sir. And he turns and he will go and he just kind of tips his hat slightly to you, and he turns and with a quick step in, just trying to put his kids through school, with a quick little skip in his step, he moves back over to the carriage and prepares it and starts to lead it in, get it ready. He's checking the horses, making sure all the reins are tied tight, and make sure that nothing. You guys have seen him be tip-top the entire time. David has been very thorough. He's been very professional. So you haven't seen him do any sort of need to check these things. But again, he's just being thorough and he's checking them anyway. And he goes to do that while you all finish up what you're doing here. Flora, if you have a mind to notice, you'll see that the mayor, when he is not looking despondently at the ground, his gaze keeps falling to you, like maybe he's trying to maybe work up the courage to say something or to approach you, but he just, every time he starts to maybe move in that direction, he just stops and seems to lose his nerve, almost as if he is more terrified than anything.
She'll just go up in front of him and just stare at him expectantly.
He he realizes that you're coming closer, and again he gets even more pulled into himself, and then after a moment he looks up at you. I know your face, girl. You hide it behind that mask of paints, but I know who you are. You are Kara's girl, aren't you?
She'll just sort of tilt her head to the side.
We all know the tale of her trying to get her daughter out of here. About the Islaki, the example that they showed. I cannot speak of it. I've said too much. It is forbidden. And he looks past where you guys are standing, and if you guys recall, when you guys came into town, there seemed to be some sort of partially gone body that was kind of positioned in along the fence line. He just motions in that direction. The last who spoke against the masters, they made an example too.
she'll message again and just keep staring at him with her head sort of tilted and say, I told you, a reckoning has come.
For me?
Perhaps.
I tried to stop. I tried to save my people, but they're too strong. They're too strong. They'll get all of you too. It's only a matter of time before you fall to the Master's thrall.
I have not fallen yet.
No. No, I suppose you haven't. It's probably why she was able to get you out of here. It is forbidden for me to speak more on this. I will not. I cannot.
Do you know why she got me out?
She wanted to save you from your fate. That is all that it is spoken. That there was something that she could not allow to happen, that must happen, that still must happen. Do you not understand, girl? And at this point, he actually seems to cut through that fear that's hanging over him like a shadow. He leans in across Luna. So you're on one side, he's on the other. And he leans over across the saddle and he says to you, they've lured you back here. They've wanted you to come back. They needed you to come back. She won't get you out of here this time. You and your friends are all dead. All of you. Dead.
I'm assuming that Kalim's passive perception is enough to hear anything this man speaks.
I think Kalim's passive perception is enough to hear what's going on in Nabulia's rock right now. So,
Kalim just silently steps up behind him and leans over, whispering in his ear, spooking him because certainly he wouldn't have heard Kalim approaching, and says, I am already dead. It is not necessary for me to die again. Unless you want to know what the experience is like, I highly suggest that you stop attempting to cajole your ridiculous notions of worship to these individuals with my companion, or else you might find that the doll at her hip speaks more in your mind than you would ever wish.
he reels at this, and then he actually bends down to look underneath Luna to see the doll hanging on Flora's hip, and then he actually jerks, and he looks at you.
As the carriage approaches, Kalim will just grab the man by the back of his jacket and thrust him towards the carriage. He'll turn and look at Flora, and he will say, I am sorry.
He underestimates me.
To
Underestimates you. You're the child of prophecy, apparently.
To everyone's peril. I would never underestimate anything you are capable of.
Thank you.
And he just, turns back towards the mayor and waits for him to run away.
He does, this time, he does fall. He does, you can tell that he probably scrapes his knee or something because there's a new fresh rip on his pants as he stands. There's not a lot of blood that trickles out, you notice. But he does get to his feet and he stumbles towards the carriage, catches himself on the door of it. And as that happens, he just looks back to the two of you standing there together. His eyes lock with Isra's for a moment, and she has just that, mischievous grin that, well, maybe not now. Beth's doing something different. Just has that reaction that she does. And this man is just clearly just out of sorts. He doesn't know how to take the four of you, and he just looks like he's waiting for you all to tell him what to do at this point.
Aid, can you find us a good place for the tent?
That's my specialty. One moment.
Thank you. And he'll Kalim will just whiffed his hand up into the air and summon his Noctis steed.
There is a smoke almost like that materializes out of the night, it pulls forward, and it materializes back into the phantom steed that then collapses forward and comes up next to you, as it has oftentimes when you have summoned it before. And as Nocturne approaches next to Luna at this point has become used to the fact that the phantom steed is around, so it doesn't react with fear or any sort of reaction other than just acceptance. And the two of them are together. Everyone starts getting ready to go, and you all mount up or get within the carriage. The mayor, he will actually go into the carriage as well, sit down with the two ladies, it would seem, and he just looks despondently out the window, looking like he's just at a loss again. The townsfolk at this point are all pretty much out of the middle of the town. They're all back to where they're going. You do see that one of the girls that was to be taken tonight is one of the last people that is left out in the outside. And as a very slight rain begins to drizzle down over the city, drowning out everyone's crying or words of comfort to each other, just kind of with that sound of the rain bouncing off the ground and different rooftops and things of this nature, the four of you ride out of the city, and you are going to be having Cade take up the lead on Luna as he's looking for a place to camp. Go ahead and make a survival test for me, please, Cade.
What's the terrain?
The terrain, it is basically, it's slightly urbanized here. This would be the equivalent of like a frontier town, or like some sort of town that's got a lot, it's a lot of like rough ground. It's so I would say basically in terms of like trying to find an area, it would be mostly forested with some paths worn into it, I guess you could say.
Okay. Survival.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
23.
23. Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, you take the group out of the town, maybe about, I don't know, a mile or so, and you do find a small little clearing that has enough copse cover off to the side that would make it so that it's going to be a little bit of a wind wall if the storm does kick up. It does have a small little glade, I guess you could say, that reaches down in below it. Not very deep, but enough to be a good place to, if you're going to position everything, you could have the tents. Well, actually, the tent's a magical thing, doesn't really need to be positioned, I guess I could say, but it's a good area where the horses will be able to be taken care of. The carriage has room, things of this nature. Far enough away from the town, you won't have to worry about being disturbed with that. And yeah, you all begin to set up camp and make everything ready. Kalim, you said you pull out your trusty thing.
Yeah, Kalim reaches into the messenger style bag that is normally slung over his back, and retrieves from it a I think it's 2 feet 24, no 20, a 20-inch long dark steel rod, and capped at one end of it, it looks like a brazier, almost like the metal filigree of a torch. And he holds it up in front of him, and as soon as he grabs onto it, it alights with the torch's flame at the end, and he looks at Cade for instructions of where to go. Cade, I'm assuming, just directs him, and as he steps over to where Cade instructs, he flips the rod over in his hand, and he douses the flame into the ground and invokes another command from it. And as he does, over the course of a minute, magic starts to unfurl in this almost ghostly, inky blackness, unfurl from the rod itself, creating a 5-foot by 5-foot opaque, almost like small version of a military tent. And it doesn't look particularly comforting, because of the darkness that kind of washes across it, but inside you can see the glimmer of a firelight coming from within, and all of my companions know this to be a magical space, that on the inside is a 15-foot by 15-foot space, complete with a few different cots to sleep upon, a cooking hearth, or not a hearth, like a cooking stove, small cooking stove in the center, and is warm, dry, and surprisingly quite cozy on the inside. And it certainly has enough space inside for all of us to fit, maybe perhaps a little bit snugly, but it is a nice dry place for everyone to rest. As everyone starts to make their way, Kalim will grab on to the mayor and just place a hand on his shoulder as he directs him towards the tent, and he says, "You should get as much rest as you can tonight. It is hard to say when you will have another one." And just lets him go into the tent.
I understand. Thank you for your mercy. I hope it's not your folly. And he goes into the tent. And the four of you are all here. Everything is positioned. David goes to, I'll see to the horses, sir. Don't
No.
worry about it.
I will take care of the horses. Go inside. And Kalim will take care of the horses and the carriage in the rain.
Surely I must assist you, Master Kalim. Forgive me. It's my duty.
David, food, dry, rest. You deserve it.
I don't know if any of us really get what we deserve in life. It's really just more what we need. But I understand. I appreciate.
Flora will come up and just take him by the hand and lead him into the tent.
You're going to need your strength for tomorrow, David. Eat.
Is the last thing he hears. Flora pulls him into the tent. Yeah. So he goes in. He sits down as well. Kalim, you go to the horses. Is there anything that Isra or Cade are doing in this moment, or is everybody just going to be eventually coalescing inside the tent?
So Isra will wait until Flora comes in, and is Pandemonium still out and about?
He is.
She will look to Pandemonium and just say, Pan, do you want your friend? And she'll look to Flora too to make sure it's okay.
And he like wiggles
Oh yeah,
excitedly.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, very excited.
Like a corgi wagging its tail.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a whole
So
body
fluffy.
thing.
So Isra will just sort of pet him a little bit and say, okay. And she will conjure up her familiar, which is a dark little pseudo dragon with very big, wide eyes. And as he sort of like pops into existence, she sort of looks at him and gives him like little pets and scratches and just says, "Oh, sugar, you're so sweet. I missed you so much. Okay, now you have to be very nice because Pandemonium is here and they want to play with you. I don't want to see this. You go play and be very nice, and then I'll feed you." And she'll sort of just like shove him off to Pandemonium, and he'll be slightly standoffish at first, but eventually will warm up.
Sure. Eventually, like a little cat and dog friend that have been together begrudgingly, that they secretly are besties and they don't want anybody to know, they eventually do get along and they go about their business for sure. And after a time, Kalim comes in as well. He seems to be unaffected
Kalim
by
does
the
not.
Oh, Kalim does not. Excuse me.
No, Kalim stays outside.
Oh, okay.
Well, in that case, Cade went inside to get some wine and then goes back outside. Cade is not affected by rain. He loves rain.
Okay.
Being the traveler that he is, he's going to find a good spot where he can keep watch. Since this particular terrain he's rather adept at, he can
Sure.
be alert even while doing other activities, like
Great.
drinking.
Of course, yes.
And so he will kind of perch himself up have his cloak and have his helmet kind of like half cocked on in case he needs it to fall on his head, and just kind of just keep a watchful eye. He knows there's a literal storm coming, and so he wants to kind of keep a special eye out. So
Absolutely.
Kalim will, after taking care of the carriage and the horses, will approach Cade and say, "You are nervous, my friend."
I have been in many places. I have traveled to a lot of different realms. I've never been to this one. I've never felt what I feel entering a realm like I have entering this one. Something's coming.
Are you not afraid?
I wouldn't call it fear. Not for myself, anyway. And then he'll look towards the tent. I don't know if we're coming into the danger or if we're bringing the danger.
I believe it is both.
Oh. May we find what we're looking for. And then he'll raise his glass.
Kalim will just nod.
And as you nod, Kalim, you hear a twig snap in the forest nearby.
Turn and look.
Cade, you suddenly see him turn and look. You heard nothing. So you're not sure what he's looking at, but clearly he's been alerted to something.
Something bothering you?
Someone stepped close.
Impossible.
As I'm looking in the direction, I will call out, "You can come out. Regardless of whether you mean danger or not, I know you are present."
There's a long pause, and then only at first you see it, Kalim, because your eyes are accustomed to the dark, being a darkness cleric, darkness priest. And then eventually, Cade, you start to see it as well, that there is a figure who starts to slowly step out of the wooded area in this clearing that you guys are all in. And as they start to step out, you can just see the traces of a ruby red colored cloak that is about their shoulders. The hood is up, so you can't make out their features other than the fact that there is a little bit of some dark hair that sticks out kind of around the bottom of the hood. And as they regard you, you can see that their eyes shift slightly in the dark as if they are luminescent somehow, like they're catching the light. And right as this woman is about to speak, there suddenly is a shriek from nearby. Something rips through the night above, and there is a figure, a form that pulls down out of the sky. It temporarily blots out the very small glimpses of the waning moon at this point as it comes down and streaks towards where you guys all are. This creature is easily a large creature. It has probably a 15 or 20 foot wide wingspan, and as it does a full arc around you all, it slams down on the opposing side of the encampment where you guys all are, throws its head back with another roar. You see that this creature appears to be some sort of wyvern type creature with 6 legs. It has a very stable stance, and as it unfurls its wings and snaps them once or twice, there is a viscous acidic fluid that drips down its sinewy veins and the form and the joints of its wings, dripping along the ground with a sizzle. This figure, this woman who was looking at you all, who was about to say everything, she just simply looks away from you all towards the creature, and she reaches for what looks to be some sort of magically infused bow on her back. It brings it to bear, and she says, "You may want to arm yourself." And let's roll initiative, shall we?
Indeed.
Cade's
While
you
this
wore the
is
brown
all
pants.
while this is all happening in the tent, as the little ones are playing, Isra will look frustratedly to Flora and say, always staying outside. I don't understand this because it's like they're both trying to fight to see who can be the least comfortable at all times.
They're
And
very
Kalim is
stubborn.
always taking care of everyone, and he hasn't healed himself. He's out in the rain. It drives me crazy. And then we hear the...
I am curious, Kevin,
down.
if when we were
Yes.
riding, I'm assuming it was not like hard ride or anything, was that long enough to qualify for a short rest?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, anybody wants to take the benefit of a short rest before we get into this can definitely do that. We're going to say that the tent is just over here where these two figures are. We have it roughly like this here. Actually, that needs to be just slightly bigger. Excuse me real quick, everybody, while I fix this. Adrian, look like you were about to say something, good sir.
Yes. Would Kate know what kind of creature this is? One of his favored enemies is dragons, large reptilian creatures.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's like a dragonelle or a wyvern or a
There we go. That's
baby
right.
dragon or
Yeah, go ahead if you could, Cade. Make a either a nature check or an arcana check. Slightly different DC for each, but I'm sure you'll have no problem with either. And go ahead and let me know what you get.
of nature.
12 nature. Okay. You recognize that this creature is what looks to be a six-legged wyvern, which typically would be a natural formed creature. However, because this one seems to be different, you can see that its eyes are distorted, a little bit different than they should be. It seems to have a different gait to it, like it's perhaps not entirely of a normal structure, a little bit of an aberrant look to it, an aberration, I guess you could say. You would know, you have heard of these creatures though. You have heard of Akamuds. They basically are these creatures that, as far as the legend goes, they were pulled from a different world and brought here to be subservient creatures. And some of them escaped during that time period and now are making their way about the world. And sometimes they find things to feast upon. And hopefully that will not be all of you tonight. So, what are those initiative rolls, everybody? Let's start with, because how I have it on my sheet here, let's start with Cade. What is your initiative?
14.
14. Okay, and Flora.
16.
Okay, and Isra.
20.
20. All right, and Kalim.
I rolled horribly, even with advantage. I only got a 12.
Okay. And then we're gonna have them go. Okay, and so as this creature sets down across the way, it is going to be heard by everybody for that loud shriek. Even inside the tent, you heard that. And so in this moment, real quick, before anything truly happens, top of the initiative, I guess you could say, would be Isra. You hear that shriek outside, and you hear something land on the ground outside, something large and heavy, and you're not sure what exactly that was. But it is your turn to react and do what you will.
Oh no. She will just immediately bolt out of the tent, out to see where everybody is. Were they far from us, or would I be, like, how far from the tent would I have to go to get to them?
They're positioned roughly 30 feet away from the tent.
Okay, so it's kind of like it is on the map then.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So she'll run out and forward a bit, looking to her friends and seeing this big ass creature, and
You're
just
not sure what this creature is.
yeah, just it's very big and it has wings. It's not nice like sugar.
No.
So she'll call over, like from beyond this tree to Kalim and just say, "Are we killing it?"
Cullen doesn't respond.
So yes, she will then, without a response, just acting, she'll send off an Eldritch Blast at it.
Alrighty. Roll to hit.
An 18 to hit.
That's a nice opening shot. Go right ahead. Roll that damage for me, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's 12 points of damage, but then I'm also going to throw in my Vessel of Souls ability that I can tack onto that for another D8. So that is 3 force damage with that.
Mhm.
And then I get a second
You got a
Eldritch
second
Blast,
bolt.
right?
Yeah.
Great. I'm sending out another one. Ooh, 26 to hit.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, and that's
Love it.
14 points of damage. Just
Ooh,
dark shadow
Nice.
energy ripples and crackles through the air.
awesome. Cool. Yeah, these two powerful blows. Your Eldritch Blast streaks out, and there is the shadowy vessels, the souls, as they talk, and you can hear whispers in your mind as you pull them out and you channel them through the Eldritch Blast. And as they hit into the creature, you can see it just reefs back from it, and it looks like it's not very pleased with that. And yeah, that's a nice, solid, powerful blow with both of those Eldritch Blasts. Take it down to 5-digit hit points. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. And alrighty, so with that, it is going to be terrifyingly enough, this creature, as it lands, it gets hit, it immediately gets very mad and irritated by this. It snaps its wings and it dives up into the air. It streaks up a good 40 feet into the air. I'm sorry, 50, 60. Let me actually read English. It flies 60 feet into the air, and it does a wide arc as it does so, bringing its wings to bear. And as it does, it's going to turn and start to drop down over towards your direction. And it doesn't go very far, but it does move enough that it's closer. And then it is going to actually, with that being said, it is going to throw its head down towards you all, and with a shriek, it is going to breathe a deep green viscous acid that streaks down. It burns just giant rivets into all of the trees that are in the way here. You can see part of their branches snap from the weight, and they fall away as the creature goes. This breath weapon is basically, from the distance that it is really only going to hit Isra right now. So please make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 22.
22. Okay, you will take half damage. So you're going to take 23 points of acid damage as you partially get out of the way, but it is enough. The trickles of it as it bounces off the ground and also slaps along. Part of it sizzles across your shoulder, and there is something inside of you. Just the talking, it seems to pull back as well. There's a voice in your head, don't miss next time. And the dragon finishes its movement, just flaps its wings, and it is ready for more. With that, the woman with the bow, she aims towards it, and she says, it's weak at the neck. And then she's going to fire her bow at it, and she's going to roll a 16 and a 17, both of which are going to hit. So there is a streak as the bolt shoots forward. It goes across. One of them, as it's about to hit into this thing's chest, you see the head of it kind of expands slightly, and as it hits it, there's a explosion that goes across this thing's chest, and there's fire that gouts down across of it and falls down in amongst part of the trees. The second one, just a regular arrow that hits it. The creature doesn't seem to be too disturbed by this, but it is going to take a little bit of some impact damage from that, which I'm noting.
If I had been playing a different character when she said it's weak in the neck, I would have said, yeah, so's Cade.
Oh,
Man.
zing.
Heyo.
But I'm not playing that kind of character,
That's
so...
right. Alrighty, and she is then also going to, as part of this, she is going to move her distance, which is 40 feet over to here. And as she does, you can see that there are moments that she fades so easily into the shadows around her that you can't entirely see her move the entire way as she moves, and her eyes seem to be catching the light ever so slightly. It's not unlike when an animal's eyes catch the light. There's that weird reflective ability to it. as she moves through and over to there. Flora, you're inside the tent, but you did see your friend Isra go outside of the tent. The tent flap, as it were, is, I mean, I know it's magical, but the tent flap, as it were, is open, so you see all of this going on. You have line of sight if you want to stay in there, or you can go out and join the others. What would you like to do?
I will just step 1 foot outside the tent, and I am going to cast. How far is this guy?
From you?
Yeah. What's happening here?
He is 45 feet.
Perfect. I'm going to cast Ray of Sickness.
Okay. That requires save, I'm sure.
Nope, it is.
Attack roll.
Yep, that's a 25 to hit.
Yeah, I'll allow it. No. Yeah, no, it hits. Solid, powerful strike, yeah.
That is 11 poison damage.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it does have to make a Constitution save to see if it's poisoned or not.
Okay. Constitution save, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a 13 on the die plus 3, 16.
That my save is a 17, so it is poison.
Nasty. Okay. Good to know. So it's basically has the poison condition. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
And then I am going to I've got like a little pan flute that's sort of sewn onto the shoulder of my garment, and I'm gonna like just blow a tiny little tune and give bardic inspiration to Kalim.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very nice. Okay. And as that is all happening, Cade, it is your turn, sir.
Cade will look up at the leathery reptilian beast. Just sigh. Jump on Luna. We'll cast a bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on the beast. And we'll head out. Let's see if that hunter's heading this way. Then Cade and Luna will head this way.
Going around for a flanking maneuver. Absolutely.
Yes, and as we are riding through the trees, we'll have the shield in one hand that is making a very, very mean face at said beast, and then we'll have a hand crossbow. And as we are riding, we'll fire a shot towards the neck.
Excellent. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
All right.
It cut out again. I'm sorry. What was it? I still didn't catch it. I'm sorry.
16.
16. 1-6. Okay, yeah, that's gonna hit. Yeah, sorry about that.
Sweet.
That'll hit.
Hold on. Didn't see what I rolled there.
It's pretty big. It's hard to miss.
Let's see. That's 9 points plus d6.
Mm-hmm.
That will be 10 points of damage.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you fire with the crossbow. Its aim is true as it hits it, and it blossoms in the neck right below where this other woman hit it. There is, again, the creature, it starts to fall partially out of the sky from that, but it catches itself, and it starts to lower itself a little more peacefully down towards the ground, but it's open slightly for a well-practiced attack from Kalim, which I'm assuming is coming now since it is his turn.
It is my turn.
Yes, indeed.
So let's see. Kalim will first move up to here in an attempt to try to, protect Isra a little bit. And since I got the Bardic Inspiration, I'm going to change my original plan, and I'm instead going to do Guiding Bolt at 4th level on this thing. So that is a spell attack roll. That is a natural 20 for a total of 29.
Oh, yes.
Didn't
Here we
need
go.
that. So that's just double damage, right, Kev?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. So that's going to be 14d6 radiant damage.
Oh, nasty.
For a total of 52.
Jeez.
Holy smokes. Holy smokes. 52. Okay. Yes, you gesture, and again, not a break of the concentration and the stoicism on your face. You gesture, and there is a beam of silvery light that shoots out of your hand, streaks across, and punches right through the center mass of this thing. It explodes out of its back, and the creature does fall the rest of the way out of the sky, landing on its feet with a in amongst the semi-burned and destroyed trees that it flew over a moment ago. It is not dead, but you see it gasp and wheeze as there is just blood that pours out of the hole that you made into it, and it looks up at you with hatred and anger. And Kalim, you would guess that this thing probably is going to be coming after you specifically next, because I did not like that. That was a massive blow. You can tell that this creature is definitely in its last throes here. This could be turning this fight pretty quickly. Anything else you want to do?
Yeah, so for a bonus action, I'm going to use my Channel Divinity and get back a 2nd level spell slot.
Ah, excellent. Okay. Yeah, so as that punches through, it's almost like you reverse the grip on your hand, and that spell that punched through, it almost reverses, and now that the thing has fallen, it passes over its head and absorbs back into your hand. You feel your divinity come back and fill your semi-undead limbs once more. Top of the round with Isra. This is round 2. A lot just happened,
Yes,
but here we are.
it is. Okay. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We're gonna send some more shadowy waves of eldritch energy. Ah, shit.
Mhm.
That is a dirty 20 to hit.
Okay. Yep.
And so that'll be 6 points of damage. I'm gonna add my fun little extra die for another 2 points, and then for my second roll, that is 21 to hit, and 13 more points of nasty shadow energy that just it warps in the air, and you can hear the whispers getting louder. The more I use the magic, the louder those voices get, and it just blasts away.
Yes, absolutely. This creature again is breathing heavy, panting. You could see that there is a look that goes through it that all of you being seasoned warriors and adventurers can know that this is a look of almost of desperation, of mischievousness, however, that's mixed in, almost like this creature is telling you all, okay, I have one last trick you aren't ready for, fools. It's going to, across the ground, it is going to move closer to you all. And as it gets up within about 20-foot range of most of you here, let me do a quick measurement check real quick. It's 25.
Do it.
15.
I dare you.
25. Okay, I'm just seeing. Okay, well, actually, it has a little bit more movement, so I'll move it just the rest of the way. Then real quick.
They get the full effect.
Mean.
Yeah, we'll do it. So we'll get everybody except for Flora, because she stood back there. And I believe the hunter is out of range too. Again, let me check.
It is, yeah.
Playing by the rules here in D&D. 25. Yeah, you're close enough. You're close enough. You're close enough. Okay, here we go. So this creature, it's going to throw its head back, and as it does, as I mentioned, it has these really deformed, strange-looking eyes. And as it throws its head back, you see that the eyes almost have a shimmer to them, and you can see that the skin moves and ripples, almost like a snake moving beneath sand. There is a movement, and the eyes actually open in such a way that they appear to be one elongated eye that is beamed across its face. And as it opens its eyes, there is a light that a light that splashes out, tearing through the dark of the eternal night, streaking out towards all of you. I need, please, Kalim and Cade and Isra to please make a dexterity saving throw.
Yes.
The difficulty class is 15. Let me know if you do
21.
not pass. 21.
That's a 10.
A 10.
Yes.
Oh, I miss every time Adrian tells me a die roll, it cuts out. I'm not sure what's going on with that. What is it?
I'm going to use a lucky roll because I rolled a 10 as well.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
have a lucky feat, so let's
Yes.
roll dexterity. Dexterity. Oh, you know what? I think I rolled the wrong thing anyway. I rolled the wrong thing the first time, so let me
Oh.
get that right.
Yeah, you're rolling checks and not saves.
Yeah, I did the wrong one, so I think I got a 12.
Okay.
Also
Oh wait,
for mine.
I'm sorry, I'm rolling the wrong thing. My bad.
Okay. Okay. Third time's the charm. What do you got?
That's better. Yeah,
Okay.
still 13.
Oh, 13.
A 13. Okay. You got a 13. We're gonna say, Beth.
As I see that I'm not going to be able to dodge this in time, I will have my body sort of merge with the shadow, and my form becomes somewhat spectral. And while I merge with the shadows, I get to roll a d20, and if it's an 11 or higher, the attack misses me. And this is
So
a reaction that I get to
That
take.
only applies to things that have attack rolls. Sorry,
Yep.
Beth.
He took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay.
I was gonna say the exact same thing.
That's
This isn't technically an
fine,
attack. So.
guys.
Sorry. This is
That
like
is
a
fine.
gaze attack, I guess you could say. So it's technically not an attack because it doesn't actually try to hit you. You just
Bring
type
it on.
Like an AoE.
I'm ready for
thing.
it.
Cade has become one
Got it,
with
got it,
his
got it.
bladder. Bring it.
One with his bladder. One with my bladder. My bladder is one with me.
It should be? Like, you
Right.
hope so?
You would think so.
No, it's
Yeah,
not
you think
part
that's how it works? Yeah.
Wait, I mean, A, you don't want it to be someone else's bladder because, well,
Yes.
and B, you don't want your bladder rebelling against you so it's no longer one with you.
You
Good there.
know what? Both of these are very true points. Okay, so sorry about that. With
Just
that being
FYI,
said-
Adrian, you did actually get a 16 off of your first roll.
Ah.
Because you rolled a 9 and you have a +7 to your dex save, so that's a 16.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
well,
right.
okay. We'll go with that. So, both Cade and Kalim, you were able to successfully withstand the gaze attack of this creature. However, Isra, as the bright light flashes, you're not able to look away or to avert your gaze. It flashes through you, and being a Karevi, you might be more susceptible to light anyway. What happens is you
Oh, yeah.
feel your eyes. There's a burning sensation in both of them, and as you blink to try to get the light out of your eyes, you notice that darkness in that moment when you close your eyes remains when you open them. You seem to be blinded for the time being. This creature, realizing that it doesn't really have any options now, because that's really what it was trying to do. It was hoping to do that to all of you. It's pretty much going to try to just move. But it realizes if it moves away, it's not really, I mean, it's smart enough to realize that you guys are putting the fight to it as well. So it doesn't back away. It steps further into the middle of all of you. It's hissing and snapping and throwing its head around. There's still that open hole that's bleeding and gushing on the ground that, I almost said Miko, you're Miko, that Kalim poked through it, and the sizzle from the attacks. And with that, it's going to be the hunter's turn. From over here off to the side, she turns and she steps up onto the last little bit of this ridge. She takes aim with the bow. She fires. However, when she does, the shot just barely misses. It streaks over this creature's head as it's moving and snapping back and forth at all of you. It embeds itself in a tree nearby, and part of the bark and the tree splits from the impact of it. And she just gets a very curious look on her face as she raises an eyebrow at all of you in the middle of all this. With that, it's going to go ahead and it's going to be Flora's turn.
Can I do an insight check to see if she intentionally missed?
Sure.
19.
She did not. She was trying
Okay.
to actually hit it. Yep.
Okay. Just making sure. You
Yeah,
know.
no, she.
Strangers join in the battlefield, simultaneous with a monster. Is this
Yeah.
a trap? Is this a
Sure.
trick? You know.
Sure, exactly. No, yeah, she definitely seemed to try to hit it. She did miss. She was a bit intrigued, and she is intrigued by the fact that all of you are holding your own against this thing. So, Flora, what would you like to do?
Flora sees Isra get hit, and the pink glow of her eyes starts to burn brighter, and she's gonna cast a 3rd level Dissonant Whispers.
Oh,
You done fucked up, wizard or lizard boy.
That's it.
Wisdom save, 17.
Floor's done. 17 wisdom save. 19.
Oh,
He rolled pretty good on that. He only had a +1, so he rolled pretty.
Does he have disadvantage because of the poison condition?
that's a
I
good
believe.
question.
I believe it does. One sec.
No, it's just attack rolls and ability checks. So
Okay.
it's not saving throws.
All right.
Right. Yep. So yeah, no. So 19. So it passed.
Oh, we lost your audio. You're muted, Deb. Cat's on
It
the
was
keyboard.
the cat.
It's the
Yep,
cat.
he is right on the trackpad.
Now that's pandemonium right there, folks.
So I rolled 19 damage. He'll take half of that.
Okay.
Oh, 9.
Okay. There is the part of the Dance Macabre that you hear. You pull it forward in the chorus of the voices, the undead that are nearby, waiting for you to pull them back into the world of the living to do your bidding. They begin to sing and dance and taunt this creature. These dissonant whispers burrow into its mind and begin to pull it apart from within. You can see the creature, this one single eye that it has, the skin flaps, the eyelids around it start to move and twitch and wither, and it throws its head back, and with a shriek, it just starts to scream and roar. It's a mixture of pain, of fear, of loss, and in this moment there is just sounds that you all hear. It's a mixture of a choral singing as well as a screaming, a screeching, almost like someone is drawing their fingers across a stone. And then there is going to be almost like a pop, and this thing's head is going to split apart, and it drops backwards onto the ground with a bloody plop. And there was a pause, and this hunter steps forward. She pulls her hood back, and the rest of her long jet black hair falls down around her shoulders. You all can see now that she is an elven woman, and she has very fine features, very attractive. You'll notice, Cade, because you notice such things about newcomers. Her eyes do have a look about them, almost as if they are lit up by the reflection of the little bits of moonlight. And as she lowers the bow at all of you, she says, "Well, I'm always interested to meet newcomers. I believe that we all have a bit of catching up to do. Welcome to the
see?
Blood Domain."
Right now? Or am I still blinded?
Your vision does come back because the combat is
When it's
over.
dead?
It basically is going to
Okay.
be that, it's going to be the end of your next turn. So, yeah, you're all good.
Okay.
But before we find out exactly what's going to be happening and what all this woman has to say, let's take our 5-minute break for the night. Let's step back, take a breath after the combat, after the weirdness that's going on. A very, very intense first half. So thank you all for being here so far. Now take a quick moment, top off your drinks, grab a snack, whatever it is you'd like to do in that 5 minutes. Go to the bathroom maybe, and come on back and join us for the next part where we find out what's going to happen here. So thanks so much. See you shortly. And we are back. Thank you all for coming back with us after the break, sitting down to listen to more La Notte Eterna. Appreciate you being here. If you like the story so far, remember you can actually get your own copy of La Notte Eterna's Quick Start right now over on the website that's found in the link tree above me. You can also get onto the backer kit there and get your own copy secured for when it comes out in just a couple of months. Some of the stuff that we are showcasing with the players, the races, the classes, this new monster we just fought are all things that can be found in that. So if you want to play, take a second to find it out. It's pretty good stuff. So, but as you can see, our heroes are being pretty capable warriors. They're tried and true, and they have a lot of experience doing this sort of thing. And so as we find ourselves coming right back into the moment, after defeating this disturbing beast, this Akamud, which is some sort of strange alien-type wyvern creature brought forth from another world to be the, I guess you could say, glorified cattle, workhorses, as it were, of some beings. The party have successfully defeated it. And as we stand here in the waning hours of the night, there is this elven woman who stands across from them all. As I mentioned, she is tall, elegant, with long dark hair, and there is a glow about her eyes that is quite unnatural. There is a red cloak that you all notice that she has about her. The outside of it is a dark, slate, dark red kind of color, but the inside is a bright, vibrant red, almost like fresh blood on the inside of her cloak. She looks to all of you, and you see that she actually peeks an eyebrow in your direction, Cade, and she says, so I believe we have a little bit of catching up to do if we're going to be working in the same area. I was not aware that there were others who were going to be on the hunt.
Cade will pass by the tree where she missed and take out the arrow from the splintered tree and trot back to this very fine elf and hand it back and just say, not a bad shot, and hand back the arrow to the elven hunter.
There is the slightest of smirks that curls up in the corner of her mouth, and she reaches out, takes it, those ruby red lips dancing across the last bits of the moonlight, Cade. She just gives you a little bit of a nod. Thank you. Not so bad there yourself. What brings the four of you here? She says, just looking around at all of you.
As that initial conversation was happening, Kalim immediately turns to his companions for those that could be injured, sees is aware enough to notice the discoloration in the eyes of Isra, and the kind of self-awareness that, you know, she can't see and such, and he will immediately come over to her and in a low, quiet voice say, "I've got you," and just reach up and place a hand over her eyes and cast Lesser Restoration to get rid of the blindness. And as he does so, part of the prayer, Isra can hear him say, "Let the darkness heal."
Oh, thank you. I I like the darkness, but not like that.
He just nods, and you can tell that he has a almost pained expression in his face as he turns away and back towards the new entry into the scene, the elven woman, seemingly half covering Isra with his body, as he still is a little concerned about this woman's appearance. Not what she looks like, but rather her appearance in the scene.
The fact that she has appeared. Yes,
Yes.
I understand. I understand. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Quick note, because it is my favorite enemy. I can detect if undead are nearby. She's not.
She's not dead.
With the ruby red lips and the pale complexion and just the grace. You can never tell between elven grace and vampiric grace.
Sure.
So I'm just kind of.
I think it's a good thing to be on the lookout for. Yeah, you could tell. You know, she is alive.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Pulse.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
I didn't want to ask. I figure it's kind of rude to ask if they have a pulse.
There's always three things you don't ask a woman. You don't ask her age, you don't ask her her weight, and you don't ask her if she's a blood-sucking monster. We understand these things.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Because she is, we know.
Sure.
Come on.
I was going to say the divorced Miko would have said, "Aren't all women?" No. But the happily married Miko knows.
Oh my. Okay. She is living. Yes, she is not a vampire, if that's what you're concerned about.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she just looks. Yeah, she asked, what are the four of you? She didn't realize there'd be other hunters about, and she looks at the four of you.
Well, I guess it's time for introductions. We'll start with David here. David, come out of the tent. What are you doing?
Yeah, David does in fact come out of the tent. He just takes off his hat. He's got a little bit of that kind of bowl of hair, I guess you could say. There's that thinning part in the middle. He just kind of nods, puts his hat back on. She doesn't really. I mean, she looks to see that he's there, but she doesn't nod or say anything. She just notices.
Gotcha.
And then she looks at the four of you again.
Oh, yes. I am Circaden Elios, Crusader of the Dark, third son of Valiant Elios. These are my associates and companions. I will allow you all to introduce yourselves.
A knight in these parts. Well, it would seem that things are looking up.
Isra. Hello.
Greetings. I can see that you channel the arcane arts. That is handy. Although it is really peculiar that one that would be sent by the courts would have such a thing. Are you not affiliated with the hunt in its direct and professional manner?
No.
What is this?
But we are professionals.
Hunt?
Hmm.
What
Perhaps
are
I
you
will
hunting?
hear the rest of your names and tales before I disclose more.
I don't think you've earned my tale yet, but my name is Flora.
She nods. I am Regius Swiftstrider. I am of the hunt. And you, so quiet, so dashing, so dead looking. What might your name be?
I am Kalim, and I am of the darkness.
I understand.
No. No, you do not.
Well, perhaps when we get better acquainted, I will. As I said, I am Regia Swiftstrider. I am of the hunt. I am on the lookout for the Great Dark as it prances through this land. There are several of us out and about. Some work in tandem, small groups that are to be sent out to destroy the Great Beast on behalf of the masters of this land. There are others, such as myself, who have learned to work and harness the dark for our own personal methods. I'm not used to dealing with a group, but I do say you are, and she looks back at Cade again, intriguing. What brings you here? Hunting the Great Dark.
We're actually on a different trail. We are hunting something else, a different type of beast. At that point, Kate will do a little whistle for the mayor or ex-mayor to come out. Like,
Regia looks over to him and she goes, I know this man. He's one of the playthings of the nobles. I believe he is one of the willing fences. Strange in these lands that such a things exist, but necessary nonetheless. To keep others in line, it would seem that it is important to make sure that the food source knows where they belong on the shelf.
well, he is leading us to the place where they deliver the, I guess whatever you would call their food, where they bring the young women. We are in search of one. And this man has volunteered to assist us and at least leading us the way.
You are looking for one of the young women who are taken to the city of Spires. One of those who are the gifts to the Countess, is that correct?
That is correct.
And how long ago was this girl taken? She says, and she's kind of looking at Flora like she's maybe trying to study something about her, see what's going on with her.
When was it? Like a month and a half ago? Was it? It was it was into this last go. It was the one prior to. It was a very strange incident where normally where they feed on 4 chose a 5th one. We seek that 5th one.
Chose a 5th, eh? That is unusual. It does stand out. How old are you, girl? She says, looking at you, Flora.
Why do you need to know?
Humor me. It's a curiosity that I have. One so young as yourself, adventuring and seeking out dangers such as this.
I'm 20.
Very well. So,
I am 5. Does this number matter to you?
5.
As he says with more sarcasm than he probably normally would have.
She looks to Cade and then looks back to you. Well, this group certainly does eat healthy, don't they?
Or not at all.
So
I'm
many.
35 in case anybody wanted to know.
Well, thank you, dear, for that. I would. What do we do now? And now that your rest has been disturbed, what is it that you wish to do? You continue on your quest in the more impressive hours of the night, or do you have other plans?
Well, I wish to go to sleep.
Cade will look over to Kalim for a moment, like just be like,
Yes? What is it?
I think I'll take first watch.
You know I only need watch. You can
I'm sure
sleep.
you're tired after the combat. You know, I'm sure shooting that ray of celestial
Oh,
darkness
jeez.
can
Cade.
tire out.
No, I am feeling quite revived.
It's like, damn it. Okay, well, I'm gonna go grab our
Locked all
prize
over,
then.
man.
It's just like, damn it. Okay, well, we did slay a beast. We should get our prize for it. So, Cade will walk closer to the Elven Hunter, Swift Strider, Redia.
Red Jump.
And Redia. He goes, this is the first time I've ever slayed a beast like this. What is the prize that one would take as a hunter for such beast?
Well, you never forget your first time, but this is not the creature that I was hunting. This is not the Great Dark. This is simply something that I came across. I saw the 4 of you, well, more of you than 4. I only noticed the 4 of you to begin with, but I saw the 4 of you approach and begin to make your camp when I saw it approaching. It has a ability put upon it. Its former masters have gifted it with a certain silence-inducing magical effect. Even those who are the most wary and most aware of approaching creatures would not know that something like this was coming. So that might be why I was about to take you all unawares. Luckily, I was here to aid you, but apparently you did not need it. But if you want to take something from this creature, there is a small sac just below its throat where it stores up the viscous acid as part of its breath weapon. You can sometimes use it to make other weapons, coat blades with it, if the blades are magical and can withstand it, of course.
Of course. And so he will proceed to investigate said sack, assuming that she is following to point it out. So he will continue to talk. Like, you mentioned great darkness you're hunting. Can you care to explain how
She
does one
said
hunt
great dark, not
Great dark.
darkness.
darkness?
There is a
dark?
difference.
She looks back. Reggie looks back to the distance between where the 2 of you are standing next to the dead creature and where Kalim is standing over where you guys were all talking. And she realizes how far away that is and how he probably should not have been able to hear what you guys just said. But she just kind of gets that kind of smirk again. I did, in fact, say the Great Dark. It is a specific beast that stalks these lands. It has come to the attention of the Hijlaki themselves. The high courts wish for it to be slain. They have sent many groups out to make sure that the Great Dark is eliminated. It would seem that they are all on a timeline as well for this time of year, this year, as it were. 161 since the sun no longer rose. It's precisely when this creature must be slain. I do not know the details beyond that, simply that that is our mission and that is my duty.
And you serve the masters?
Well, I will collect their souls if that is what is to happen if I am successful.
Souls being currency, right?
Yes, they are the currency
No,
of
I'm
this
speaking
land.
out of character, so
Oh,
the
yes.
people,
Yes,
so the
soul-
people
yes.
watching don't
Yes, indeed.
have
like,
a
I
different.
figured, I figured one of you would
Self-start.
ask. Yes, souls are the name of the currency here in the blood domain. They're
Yeah.
coinage, just like anything else, but they're called souls. Yeah. Yeah, she's not that badass. She's not going to claim the souls of all the Ishlaki court. That'd be pretty sweet, though. But
Gotcha.
if you do not hunt the Great Dark, might I suggest that you simply worry about the young girl that you wish to find? Although I will tell you, brave knight, that if she has been gone for this long, it probably is a fool's errand, but you can still go with the mayor and find her if you want.
Do you know what happens to these women once they get to that location? Are they shipped someplace else? Something that you may have seen in your travels while you were hunting other things?
I do not know where they are taken, other than they are taken to the spires. There is the great obelisk of the damned and defeated that is nearby, that I know they are paraded around. It would seem that they take each of them in single procession around the obelisk, and they are watched to see if there is some sort of reaction. I've only seen this happen twice, and both times there was no sort of reaction that I could see. And so all four, two groups of four, so 8, were all taken away to the same place, a nearby tower, a nearby spire. The one that belongs to the Countess.
He's now like elbow deep
Yeah,
into this,
gooey.
into
Yeah.
this creature. Like, interesting.
Please cut out a tooth for sugar, if you would, Cade.
I'm on it.
So while Cade is going about doing this, trying to be impressive for this new person who's come along, what are the rest of you doing? I know Kalim is kind of in the middle, listening to both sides here, but what is Flora and Isra doing over by, or maybe even inside the tent?
Is it still raining?
It's a slight drizzle, yeah. It's not a full-on pouring rain, but it's enough to be called rain, yes.
Flora would have beelined for the tent.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, yeah, so you're back inside the tent. Isra, I'm assuming you're in there as well, or I don't want to assume, though.
I would say after asking Cade to cut a tooth out, she would have tired of the flirtations and gone back to the tent to hang out with Flora. And when she gets to the tent, she checks on Sugar and gives him, some love, and then she'll set about mending the holes in her clothing where she was pierced. Not with magic, but just with a needle and thread that she pulls out of her pack.
Okay.
We're very impressive out there, Flora.
I can hold my own. Now and then.
Always. It was very good.
Thank you.
Off to the side, there's a and there's a sound as the
Be
two
nice.
creatures. Oh, no, they're playing. They're having fun. They're rolling over one another. There's a wrestling sound. It's almost like two kittens having a fun time. There seems to be some sort of rock or maybe even like a ball or something that they've procured from somewhere that they're bouncing and climbing around, and it's very playful and mischievous at this moment. But again, the mayor, as you guys are all sitting here, the mayor's still staring at you, Flora, like he's just looking, and I mean, it's not being creepy or anything. He's just, his attention is on yours, like he's expecting something. And Miko, like, is it? It's just like he's trying to just figure out what's going to happen now, and what's going on here, and what that sort of thing is all about.
I
sorry, go ahead.
just sort of ignore him at this point and watch Pan and Sugar playing. Pan, I think, has a couple of bite marks in his hide at this point because he gets a little excited, and Sugar is like, "Fuck off, man."
Sure. Okay.
I'll offer the mayor some water, and perhaps a piece of jerky or something, and just say to him, "You look very terrible, and you should probably just be quiet and go to sleep. So, sleep now." Just trying to like get him to not stare at Flora anymore because it's just weird.
He just takes the water. He just looks away and just kind of sits there. He goes, "Thank you, but there's not much rest that I will find. The masters know that I'm leading you there to slay them, that they will not be very happy. They will be very cross with me."
Well, we're not going to tell them anything.
They will know. They already know. That's why they
How
sent
do they
that
know
woman
these
out
things?
there. How do they know these things? They know everything. They are the very land here. They know all. They know your thoughts. They know what is in your blood. They know what is in your very soul.
You think too much
Miserable.
of some people and not enough of others.
What is it that you think you can do against them? Against that great dark that only they fear?
I'm not here to fight the Great Dark.
No, you're here to fight millennia-old vampires, the Hijlaki that know no defeat, no weaknesses. You will not be
Wouldn't
enough.
Wouldn't you be happy that we are trying to kill them? Get rid of them? Do you like them or not? It's kind of unclear to me.
I can't. He lowers his head.
Jeez.
Tears start to stream down his face.
See, just go to sleep. Things will be better in the morning.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually minor illusion just right in front of him for a second or two my mother's face.
He looks at it. I know this face. Why would you show me this face again?
Because you need to see strength.
He just stares for a moment. I understand. You don't. Yet. But you will. You are young. I pray it doesn't break your spirit when you learn the truth.
You're breaking my spirit right now. Please. I'm sorry. I know things are very terrible everywhere. Especially for you, though, definitely. But just get some rest. Flora, don't tease him anymore. That was very impressive, though.
He turns away. He takes a small sip of the water before setting down the little cup or whatever sort of container you gave it to. He sets it down. He's going to lay down on the ground. He's going to turn over so his back is facing you guys and face the wall of the tent and just stare off into its opaque nature, not seeing anything beyond it. And if he falls asleep or not, you're not entirely sure because he doesn't move after a while. He just lies there. And after a time, I think we'll have that. Cade, you finish up taking your bounty, and the elven hunter, Redya, she just pretty much stands there watching you do that, and doesn't really make a move to help, but doesn't tell you you're doing anything wrong either. So, I mean, apparently you're on the right track. But eventually the two of you walk over to where Kalim is standing, and do you all make your way back then, or is there anything else you guys want to do while you're outside?
Clem simply stands there as the two of them approach. His eyes have not shifted off of Regia as he is watching her diligently for any signs that she potentially means harm. And as they approach, he will glance over at Cade and telepathically say, I am cautious. What should we do with her?
Cade
Bear in mind,
is-
you can't respond telepathically
Yes.
to me.
I understand, but Cade is so not paying attention, he does not pay attention to your telepathic thought. And because his mind is very, very curious, and he looks over to the elven hunter. He's like, I'm still curious. How did you find us? I leave no tracks. How did you know we were here? You noticed that we were setting up camp before you saw this winged creature. You said you spotted us. I know I'm in unfamiliar territory, but I also know I don't leave any tracks. And I don't smell that bad. How did you find us?
You smell quite good, to be honest, but honestly, I was nearby Tarash when I heard the commotion that had happened, and well, to be honest, I was so impressed by what I saw, I had to follow the four of you to find out what exactly it was you were up to. I assumed perhaps you were other hunters here to claim what I had rightfully tracked to this area, but now that I can tell that you have no bearing about the Great Dark or what danger it poses, I think that you're not anything to worry about.
Sorry to disappoint you. And I hand her the sack of acid. There's your prize.
Oh no. You and your friends earned that. Besides, it's not what I'm after anyway. I'm after the Great Dark. I need it for purposes that will help me in this land. Tell me, Sir Cade, maybe perhaps you and I can come to an agreement.
Go on.
Well, I don't typically work with partners, but I don't know, something about the four of you have just really impressed me. I think that perhaps the five of us working together might be able to claim the Great Dark, a task that has not been completed before. The reward for such a thing is much more than any of the five of us could possibly handle on our own. Even split up, we would be wealthy people to the end of our days.
I truly thank you that you think that we are capable of assisting you in such a great hunt. Unfortunately, my elven hunter friend, we are not mercenaries, and we stay focused upon our goal. There is a young woman whose life is in danger. No amount of money or fame or fortune in terms of hunting the Great Dark will make us change our path. Perhaps, if you could assist us in our goal, we may be able to afterwards assist you in yours. But we have a debt of friendship to a friend that we must seek his daughter and bring her back. Only then can we stray off course and begin to hunt other things. Now, I am but a human. I do not live very long. And so I make rash decisions like this one. So if you do not wish to help us in finding this woman, then you may go.
Very suddenly, quicker than you're expecting, she takes a step towards you to where the two of you are just inches apart. My, you're full of surprises, aren't you? I don't think it's worthwhile to try to find a missing or perhaps even dead girl, but I understand why you're so interested. I suppose I could help you, but before we make sure that we are fully in agreement, maybe I could show you something.
Do you two need a private moment?
She looks past Cade to look at you. All of you could see this. I wish to show you the lair of the Great Dark. something that I and I alone have discovered recently. I think it will give you a little bit more of an insight as to what exactly we're dealing with here and why exactly the Hijlaki want this creature destroyed. Oh, don't worry, it's not a trap.
It would not matter if it was a trap, to be honest. Before we proceed with such an endeavor, I have a question. This hunt that you are doing is for these masters and what was her moniker? The Empress, the Queen, something?
Countess.
Countess, yes. That is who this endeavor to kill the Great Dark is for?
Although Namasura is in charge of this place, she and her spouse rule over the blood domain. It is not specifically their purpose that we hunt. The Countess herself is nothing compared to the Great Dark. Her entire line are more pursued with the dealing of these women that you have spoken of before, this young girl that you're so infatuated with. But, these things are interconnected, like all things. But
are
to
they
answer your
interconnected to the point that were this dark to be destroyed and people become known of it, those people might be able to move through doors that might otherwise be closed?
I see where this is going. Might I explain it a little bit more bluntly then? Because apparently my artistic words are only really meant for this one, she says, and she gives you a wink, Cade. I can tell that you, Kalim, are a man who is a bit more used to just speaking forthright, so I will tell it to you plain. The Hijlaki are the ones who hunt the vampires, who feed on them sometimes as well. The Hijlaki are ones who are from the old world, the way before the sun fell, and because of that they are gifted with strange and unique powers that make them nigh invulnerable, impervious to most harm, and honestly, for all intents and purposes, immortal, invulnerable, undefeatable. The Great Dark is what hunts them. A single creature that threatens their entire way of life, so much so that they are willing to offer whoever brings its dead form to them 1,000,000 souls. This is a number you are aware of, I'm sure.
Yes, but it still is meaningless.
Is it?
Currency is irrelevant in the darkness. There is no differentiation between a peasant and the king in the darkness. And there have been many peasants who have survived the darkness that would consume a king. Status, money, relevance to society are meaningless if you cannot survive the darkness. That is not what I discuss. At some point, I am aware enough to know that the path that we are on is going to put us in confrontation against forces, perhaps, that will be able to resist better than the one that we destroyed a short time ago. And I am curious if your hunt for the Great Dark might be a means to an end for us in reaching the appropriate spires to see if the young woman that we search for can be recovered. And if you tell me, and I believe you, that is, that this path might open such a door for us, then I will agree to help you.
You want me to tell you what your destiny is? This is not for me to tell.
destiny moves with us, with every step that we take. So no, I do not expect you to tell me anything other than whether or not such a task would be able to get me through a door that might otherwise be requiring of force. For as much as I am strong and I do open doors such as closed when I need to, I prefer that they be opened willingly, because then I do not have to send people to the eternal darkness before their time.
It appears you have a poet in your ranks, Sir Cade.
Perhaps.
Do not worry.
I do not know what I was before I died. Oh, it could have been one of them. It matters not. Please, tell me honestly, because I tire of your flowery words.
Oh, now I'm cut to my very core. Yes, Kalim, if you go and you bring the Hijlaki, the Great Dark, they will let you go through any door that you wish. They will let you go to hell and back if that is what you prefer, to find whatever it is that you've lost.
Thank you. And he just turns around and starts walking towards the tent.
She looks back to you, Cade. Do you and I already have an agreement?
Well, as normally I wander and travel with just myself and my horse, this quest that I'm on is with the group and cannot make the decision without their approval. They have a stake in this as well. So, how does one fight such great dark? What weapon are you planning on using to slay such a thing anyway?
Well, some would say that the only way to truly defeat darkness is to bring about light that makes it vanish once and for all. And I saw what your friend there can do.
Yes. And I'm sure you've seen our other friend with the painted face.
That's who I meant.
Oh. What do you know of her?
Her age and her demeanor match a description that I was given. Nothing more.
By whom?
No, that is a question, isn't it?
I'm not going to ask it again.
My. Getting a bit forceful.
Oh, I just take
I
care of
actually
my
like
friends.
that sort of thing in a man, so that's okay. I'll forgive it this time. But I will tell you that there is one in the court. One who works alone, who has certain privileges that the others do not. And she wants a girl such as this found.
Is that why you are here, for real?
Oh no, I'm here for the 1 million souls.
Oh. Let me speak with the group, and I'm sure you'll be hanging about.
Of course. Is that the only tent, or is there others?
There's a carriage.
I see.
I did not know if hunters like you continued to fight throughout the darker hours. Unless you're tired and you need a place to rest.
There's always a fight somewhere, isn't there? Just a matter of what battleground it takes. And she's going to cross past you, and she's going to actually go over towards your guys' carriage. And unless you stop her, she'll get into the carriage.
Oh. Then Kate will head towards the tent.
Okay. Meanwhile, inside, what are the two girls up to? What are the ladies up to in here? It's been a bit since we've heard from you, so I would like to know what you guys are doing.
Good question. What are we doing, Flora?
Flora took out a pack of cards and we're just playing some sort of card game.
Yes. The mood gets brought
Not
back
very
up for a
good.
little bit. You guys are playing cards. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, there's a moment of this, in all the heaviness that's happened since you guys have come to the Blood Domain, all of the strange, really heavy, really ominous tone here in the Eternal Night. You guys have this moment where you guys get to share, and you guys get to be, just friends, enjoying friendship for a moment, and cutting out some of that dark for the time being. Unless there's anything else that anybody would like to do, I would assume you guys all rest and kind of get ready for the next leg of the journey. Oh, you still? Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Well, I bring that because I know you had said you wanted to do something before there was a rest. So.
Right. Yeah. Kalim enters the tent fairly abruptly. Makes a point not to step on the cards that are being played. Stops just before, but. Particularly Isra can probably tell that Kalim is the closest thing that he ever gets to agitated.
What's wrong?
There is something to discuss, and I do not want to make decision about this until both of you, any turns between Isra and Flora, are aware and can help me to consider the term.
Okay.
This woman, this Redia that hunts the Great Dark, believes that there is a chance that individuals responsible for fulfilling this hunt could use such achievement to gain access to places that would otherwise be closed.
What kind of places?
Well, frankly, I am concerned that the path that we are on will lead to having to injure many, many people. Not just those that deserve such things, as the man earlier this night that we slew, but rather the people, and he kind of tilts his head towards the mayor, that follow them with such zeal. And I do not wish to harm those people. So if there is a potential that whatever this Great Dark is, and helping this Redia woman to succeed in her goal will prevent that, then I think it is worth considering doing. But also I am more than capable. Oop, we just lost a couple of people.
We did. Ominous.
Uh-oh. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, technical difficulties here.
Yeah, bear with us just a moment. Such a great. So, Flora, let's cut over to you for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
While you're listening to them talk and you're playing cards and you're thinking about all the thing that's been happening here since you guys have arrived, there is the fact that everybody has been paying a lot of attention to you. The mayor has intrinsically been staring at you quite a bit. You actually noticed that the huntress woman, Regia, that you guys had come across, gave more than one very focused glance in your direction as well. And you can't help but feel that somehow this is connected. You feel like there's something else going on here that maybe you're not fully aware of. Definitely some sort of connection, and there's some sort of weird, I guess you could say, like a weird like unease, almost like a feeling like almost like you're stepping into a trap almost like you feel like you're being drawn back further into where you're supposed to be, but it's not necessarily on your own volition. Specifically, what is it that you feel that you like? What is your intention? I know you want to try to find your mother, and the fact that she helped you escape by her actions. So what exactly is your full intention? Like, what is it that you wish to do to try to make sure that this is accomplished? What's your methods here?
I think Flora is looking for some closure in certain ways. She was sort of rushed out of the blood domain when she was young and didn't get much of a chance to say goodbye to her mother, or there's just a lot that she feels like she doesn't know about her history and her powers and who she is, and so she's looking for answers and a little bit of closure. So whether she finds her mother alive or dead, whether she is able to help her mother escape or not, she just wants some sort of resolution to what her story has been so far.
Yeah. Definitely, I think in all these years since you've been gone, there's definitely something that weighs on you. You're not entirely sure what has become of your mother. The fact that people seem to know of her, to know of her tale, to know that apparently there was punishment or maybe even some sort of example made of her, really kind of fills you with dread a little bit. You're not entirely sure what it is you're going to find. What do you feel, I guess, is what's the most prevalent emotion that you have about this? Is Flora still does she still feel like this is something that's going to be accomplished, or is there any doubts that she has in this land right now?
She's pretty confident in herself and her friends that she will find something that she's looking for, but she feels like she's missing something, right? That sense of like stepping into a trap. She feels like there's pieces that she's missing, and so she's frustrated with these sort of longer glances that she's been getting from people. She feels like she is being left out of certain information, and so she's looking for, I think it's just this constant drive for answers.
Gotcha. Yeah. And you wonder what's going to happen here in the blood domain, because what you've gotten so far has been very confusing. I mean, you were actually maybe even hoping that it would be more direct and you would just be able to come in and do what you need to do, but there's been so much that has transpired that it makes you wonder what's going on, what might come next. Looks like everybody else is here, so
Yeah, we're just trying to sort out a couple of little technical things here. Sorry.
no problem at all. We'll let that story. So the Regia doesn't come in. It does apparently seem that she's gonna sleep in your guys' carriage, which is a little weird. She's just met you. Why is she sleeping in your carriage? But she's done all kinds of weird things tonight, apparently. I know you all were talking about things specifically that you wanted to try to accomplish and figure out. Is there anything besides the conversation that we are going to come back to in just a moment? Was there anything else that you guys want to do for this evening? Any other big ticket items you want to do before you all rest? That rest that is really longingly coming at this point. The fact you guys have been, battling and traveling for most of the day and everything.
Yeah, for Kalim, it's just trying to get assurances from his friends that he is thinking properly through this concern. If it came down to it, he absolutely would not care about, having to destroy a bunch of zealot people that were standing in the way of his goal.
Sure.
Like, there's just some part of him that doesn't want to unless he has to.
Gotcha.
Other than that, no.
Okay.
I think Cade will enter the tent, hand over the tooth to Isra, and
Thank you.
As seeing everyone there, just either commiserating or kind of huddling around, we'll just kind of take that in, because I know that this is going to be one of those quiet moments that we'll remember. And then we'll go back outside under the tree and wait for us to be ready to go.
All right.
Does Cade also not need sleep?
Oh, yes, I do need sleep. I am a human being that will sleep by the tree. I am not a vampire. I am human.
Well, not yet. No,
I know, it's like, they're trying. But
they are.
But still, I'm used to sleeping outdoors.
Okay. Because Kalim would probably push him to sleep in the tent a couple of times, because he does not need sleep, and can simply take the entire night's worth of watch.
You know what? It has been a long, long night. Keep an eye on the elf. 2 eyes. Just roll over here.
He just plants his long sword of warning into the ground in front of him and stares at the carriage.
Not creepy at all.
Absolutely.
Get my helmet.
Alrighty. So with
It's a
that,
long rest.
Yeah, I feel like at that point you all take a moment, you rest, and
Flora,
okay.
before she would sort of, I think, pretend to be asleep until she notices that Isra is sleeping, and she would take her little doll and just put it like right on her chest, right in front of Isra's face, waiting for Isra to wake up.
Absolutely.
I thought you were, for a second there, I thought you were going to do that to the mayor.
Yeah. Oh no!
Oh, dude.
I'll have a heart attack and die. That poor guy. Oh yes. So yes, you do. You set up the little doll, and you all venture into the last little bits of sleep that you need to get for the night to pass. And I feel that when you wake up, if we could, Isra, call a charisma save.
As soon as she opens her eyes, the doll is like,
Oh.
tell me your nightmares.
That's disadvantage on that save.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is why I sleep outside.
Yeah, she's only got you with this. Yeah, exactly.
It's a total of 10. I rolled a 2.
Okay. And yes, you just about have a heart attack. You pee a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. And the doll, slides down off to the side, and you look over at Flora. She's got it's just a beaming look on her face. She just really enjoyed this little prank she played on you.
That was very good. That was very good. Oh, goodness. I will repay this kindness one day.
I
Oh,
wanted to be sure you were awake right away.
I'm very much awake. So awake.
mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh.
Who needs coffee when you have friends like Flora?
Right, exactly. All right, yeah. Now that you're nice and jump started and you're ready to go, you all get up. You have a quick breakfast. A little bit of a bivouac before you guys gonna head out. As you guys are finishing this up, you'll see that Redja will emerge out of your carriage, and she'll come up to you, Cade. Thank you very much for allowing me to use the carriage. I will say it had so much extra room with just me in it, but that's how these things go, I suppose. Are we to go to the lair then? You wish to see where the great dark makes its way when it is alone?
Realizing that I'm not wearing a shirt. Yes. Give me a moment, please. I'm still fixing breakfast here. Looking over to Kalim. Did we decide if we're going to the dark or not?
I think so.
Did we even tell Isra and Flora about this dark?
Yes.
Okay. Because I just remember falling asleep, waking up with screaming. Okay. All right. All right. Go back and get the armor on. Okay. So this dark, Blair, how far away is it? Are we close?
It's about 3 hours, I would say. It's very
That's not-
close.
All right. And have you seen it before?
The Great Dark.
Yes.
Since I'm here talking to you, that should be your answer enough.
So that's a no.
It is a no. I have not seen it. No one who has lived.
As she says that, I will look over to the rest of the group. Be like, all right, how's everyone feel about going to see the dark? Isra?
It's fine by me. Kalim said it was a good idea. I trust him.
Oh. Flora, have you ever witnessed anything known as the dark?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, if this will help us find Natalya and avoid us killing others, then I agree with Kaliman. We will assist you in hunting the Great Dark.
Very well. I trust that you are all ready to go. Do you need to rouse your... And she realizes that David kind of comes out from behind her. Oh, you don't need to rouse your driver. He apparently is already ready. Good work, sir. Thank you, he says. And he goes back to doing with the horses. And the mayor, is he to be traveling as well, or is he staying behind in the magical tent?
Blim just goes inside of the tent and pulls the rod, forcing the tent to evaporate into nothingness and forcefully expelling the mayor from inside of it.
Absolutely. The mayor falls out of the tent and he flops down onto the ground, and a weird jumble of arms and legs rolls a few times and then stops.
He's coming. If we're fighting a creature, we'll need bait. Come.
Did he fall out in such a way that implies that he is not awake or potentially is dead?
Kalim, you look down to the mayor and you do in fact see that he is dead. He died in the night.
Let's go. Chop.
He looks
Okay,
like he is he's been dead for some time. He's not like decayed or anything because he just died, but he looks to be cold. I mean, he's not he's not stiff or anything like that, but it's relatively recent. He does, you notice, have a look on his face that does not look like the serene nature that comes over of a man who's been given release, however.
Faith, did you kill him in his sleep?
Did I kill him?
Yes.
I'm looking over at the two ladies with their magical beasts. I'm looking at everything else in this place that could kill something with a look like that on its face. Believe me, no, that was not my doing.
Oh.
Don't you ever accuse Sugar of such a thing. It's just
Sugar can kill.
Yes, he can.
I
but he didn't do this.
only ask because you are the one that is most different from everything else.
No, I did not kill. How did he die? Is there any wound?
I will examine him and see if there is a wound.
Sure. Go ahead and make an
Actually,
investigation.
you know what? I'm going to do one better than
Okay.
that.
I'm just going to
I'm-
use my passive investigation.
I was going to speak with the dead.
Exactly, I
I was gonna
am.
say, I
I
can.
am just going to
I
speak with
love
the
it.
dead.
I
Oh,
love
jeez.
it. I love it.
Here we go.
Yeah, so I reach down and like forcefully sit him up, and I don't care what the normal bodily position would be in doing that. So bones crack and creak
Yeah.
and
Sure.
whatnot as I snap his body in the upward position, and I place a hand like around his throat and invoke an utterance. Shadow wreaths from my hand, wrapping around his throat. My eyes go black, and I say, "The darkness has taken your soul, but your body can still answer the questions." And I tear my hand away and finish invoking the Speak with Dead spell.
When you finish invoking the spell, please make a. What is your spellcasting ability? Being a cleric, I'm assuming it's wisdom.
It is wisdom. Plus
Please
5.
make a wisdom check for me.
Just a straight ability check?
Just straight ability check for wisdom. Yep.
Okay. Is this something that I could potentially use my knowledge of a past life on?
No.
Okay, that's
Not
a
this
9.
time. A 9. When you cast the spell, you feel the magic flow out of you into him, and you can tell that the spell was casted, but it has no effect. You would typically know, well, if you'd like to, I mean, you know about magics and things like this. So if you want to roll, and anybody really could roll to notice that this didn't work right, an Arcana check to, I suppose you can do a religion check too, because you are a priest. So
I have my religion and Arcana are both the same.
Okay,
I
that's
got
fine.
a 16, but Flora got a 32.
I got a 32, so
Yeah,
yeah.
Jesus.
yes. So, Kalim, you're aware of the fact that definitely the spell didn't work. This is typically caused by the fact that, you know, there's probably some sort of ward on him, or the fact that maybe the way he died, maybe there's some sort of effect. But Flora, you know exactly why the spell didn't work. Here in the blood domain, those who are subservient to the courts, to the Hijlaki, are bonded to them in such a way that they cannot be as easily removed or as easily resurrected as other things. So you can tell that definitely there is stronger magic that's going to be needed to have this dead be spoken to or conversed with or whatever. And as you're knowing this, there is a sound. Again, it's that music that you hear, a distant dance that you can hear at all times, just outside of everyone else's hearing. There is that sound that strings a little bit of a sound along to you that lets you know that this specific way that this has happened is something that maybe could be undone with a different approach.
Flora
This is
will
my
look
skeptical face.
at Kalim and say, "We need more power."
I do not have more to give to this, unfortunately. But he is easier to carry with us until we figure something else out, and I just, like, pick up his body, probably with one hand, because he probably weighs nothing, and, like, chuck him in the boot of the carriage.
Okay.
Is he not dead enough? Pulls out sword. Like, do we need to?
As Kalim just, like...
Jams him in there.
I could make him walk if that would help.
How long does that last? I never remember.
Only a minute. No, wait. It lasts for a while. 24 hours. The casting time is a minute. It lasts for 24 hours.
Maybe save that for when we might need someone to recognize him as the mayor.
We'll let him ride for now, and if we need him later.
All right. So you guys cram him down into the bottom part of the carriage, get him all ready to go, and you guys begin to set out. And this whole time you guys are doing all of this, Regia is just standing there watching you all impassively. And she just Are we ready then? Are you done playing? Or...
Cade will get on his horse. Okay, so we're not gonna know how he died? Like, we're just cool with this? Like,
I am pretty
All right.
certain that his masters had something to do with it, or his body gave out. I had considered potentially trying to heal him from his obvious illness, but I did not care.
fair enough.
Let me think on what I can do, and perhaps we can find out more later.
Oh. Regia walks over to where you are in the back of Luna, Cade, and she puts up a hand as if you to pull her up onto the horse with you.
Ah, yes, of course. Pardon my rudeness.
Is she in front of you or behind you?
Let's see. Dagger's best fit in back. Put her in the front.
Okay. Alrighty. And so it's going to be the back. Two of you in the back of Luna. Kalim, do you summon Nocturne as well? Or
Yes,
are you
I summon Nocturne.
Okay. And then the other two of you are riding in the carriage that David is going to snap the reins on and have you guys venture out further into the night. You guys all travel along for a short distance of time, and as you do, you can feel yourselves getting closer and closer to the city of Spires nearby. You can tell that what you are going to be facing next is going to be found there. But you do make a slight turn off to the side based upon the instructions of Regia to you, Cade, because you're in the front.
Mhm.
She tells you to go off a certain direction, and you all venture in off towards the west, towards a more deeper part of the forest. You travel on for probably about an hour or so, and she actually she actually says to you that the certain part that you need to go to where the lair is, the carriage won't be able to go in there. It won't be able to traverse because the overbrush is too thick. So,
See.
or should you guys want to split up, or if you guys want to leave the carriage and come back to it for the again, now it's about 3 hours to get there, so you have about a 2-hour walk or so. So it's up to you guys how you want to do it.
I would suggest that we leave David with Sugar and the horses.
Yes, Sugar can. He's a very good boy.
He really
You can
is.
stay
That'd
with
be
him.
fine, Master Callum. I'm fine with that option. Yeah, there wouldn't be a problem at all. Is there anything that I should do in case I notice anything, or
Yes.
hide? Yes,
And
of
if
course.
hiding doesn't work, we'll bring the horse, brings Luna close, dismounts, looks at David straight in the eye, just for a moment, just holds it, then turns to Luna and hands him the rapier, the magical rapier that we got from the slain vampire. Like, only if you need it. If you ever killed a man, don't answer that. Just hand him the sword.
He takes it and he holds it the right way, so that's
That's
promising.
good. That's
But
good.
but
It's a
you can
start.
definitely tell that you can definitely tell that it looks awkward in his hands. You can tell it might be a little bit too heavy, but he doesn't look like he's flinching away from it or having any sort of problem. But you can definitely tell that he's probably never wielded anything like this before. But he takes it. You see that as he moves a little bit, it catches just a certain way. It looks like there's that light that kind of glints across the metal of it, and he just takes it and he sets it down on, because he's up on top of the carriage on that little bench in the front where the driver would sit. He just lays it across his lap, still holding onto the handle in his one hand. The reins are in the other. May you go in caution, Sir Cade. All of you, be safe out there.
Okay.
And just because I want you guys to know that I am not trying to get this man killed,
Oh, no.
I'm going to cast Death Ward. I'm going to use a 4th level spell slot, and I'm going to cast Death Ward on him.
Okay. All right. You cast it, and it doesn't give off any outward appearance, but he does shiver from it.
Oh no, there's a lot of outward appearance to
Oh,
Death
is it?
Ward from
Okay.
Kalim.
Okay, what does it look like for us?
It's
then?
like he goes over, places a hand square on David's chest, and shadows wreathe around the man as if they were forming chains that wrap around his chest. And then slowly the chains start to tighten to where just to the point that he starts to feel uncomfortable before vanishing into him. And Kalim says, "The shadows protect you some. Be careful."
And like right as he says that, Kate will look right over his shoulder because he's never casted that on me.
You'll never
Thank you.
ask.
Thank you, Master Kalim. I appreciate you giving me with your part of your divinity. I understand. Thank you very much. Go in peace, everyone. Be safe out there. May your travels be good. And while he's talking to you guys and doing this big, a lot of speech for him, actually,
He's so dead.
Redger just kind of slides down off the side of Luna and stretches for a moment, and then she is going to start walking off in the direction that you guys were all headed.
So we're leaving
Follow.
the horses behind.
I mean, mine is summonable, so
yeah.
Mine just
Yeah, do you wanna
vanishes as
take
soon as
Luna,
I get
really, is
off
the
of
question.
it.
Well, if it's
There are two horses attached to the front of the carriage, but they're not horses that are like for fighting and stuff. But you can take them if you want. They're not going to hinder you or anything. I'm just saying they're not like specially trained for combat. So if you take them, you would be cognizant enough to know that if you take them, they might not react well to signs of something happening. Also, the carriage wouldn't be able to go anywhere with them gone.
Right. Okay. Well, then I will leave Luna. Take my shield, take my sword, take my helm, and I have a spell. It's like beast something. I could talk telepathically to beasts, and I could speak telepathically to my horse, and so it's kind of like, hey, watch over David.
Does he respond? Can he respond?
I mean, we could understand each other, but it's like emotion. I mean, it's
I see.
Low intelligence. He's not like, David Tennant's voice speaking back to me or something.
Oh, man, I was really gonna go for something like that. So,
but it's just kind of an understanding.
Okay.
And so we're going on foot into the brush. And if this is like a brush forest type thing, then the entire group will not experience difficult terrain.
Nice.
Because I'm a ranger.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Fancy.
Ranger.
Yes, indeed. And as the four of you venture off into the forest, following behind Redja, who is leading the way towards the beast's lair, the Great Dark, you all make your way in, knowing that there is a little bit of a detour that you have to make before you go and find Natalya. And you know that it's something that's necessary, however. This Great Dark has a hold on the land just as much as the quest that you guys have. You know that you are hopefully in good hands with Redja, who knows exactly where she's going. And you know that coming back, that, things should be fine with David. He seems to be prepared with the rapier. And you guys go off into the forest, getting closer to the lair of this Great Dark. There is a figure, however, that is nearby, watching all of this transpire. And as she does, she notices all of it with a little bit of a sense of whimsy. She has a grin on her face, and then she slowly, unseen, rises up out of the brush where she was standing and begins to drift off towards the great spires to go let certain people know of the progress that is being done. Let's go ahead and end tonight there, everybody. Thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you all so very much for playing. You guys rock, man. Very intense stuff with the role playing. Awesome, fun stuff. What a great group. Thank you all so much. Again, this was Notte Eterna. This was Blood Domain. It is the third arc in an ongoing series that we have here. This was Chapter 2, The Blood Calls. And these fine players have been their recurring characters yet again. I want to thank everybody for watching and for tuning in. Real quick, before we go by and say who everybody is, I want to give an awesome big shout out to Ali Rebelli, Publishing, and also Jason Forbes for creating such a fun game and letting us have the opportunity to shape its world. The stories that we're telling here tonight and with these characters are considered part of the lore and the canon of the game. So this is a really cool opportunity for us to be able to be part of that. So I thank them. We all thank them for that opportunity. Also, I want to thank Tabletop Audio for supplying the really awesome music that we've heard. Also, I want to thank Neutral Party for the battle map that we had, as well as Miko. Thanks so much for making the cool overlays and character art. Miko is a master of all of that stuff. And I know that he'll continue to do even more stuff in the future. So thank you all for that as well. Before we go on, let me just again say this is part 2. There will be 2 more parts of this specific arc, and right after that we will dive right into the 3rd arc, where there'll be some really interesting stuff going on with game mechanics, a new game mechanic, so you'll want to hang out with that. But for now, let's go ahead, let's sign off for the night. We'll start with same order that we all signed in, so you guys can keep us all straight. Adrian, thank you so very much for returning as Cade. I love what you're doing, my friends. Always a pleasure to sit with you. So please tell everybody where they can find you. Tell them all the places that you're out there and what you got coming up.
Thanks. It is a pleasure playing with you all. The utmost fun, really developing this story. My name is Adrian. I go on the internets with @SlySparrow_. Same thing with Instagram, and you could catch me online talking about role-playing games. I'm an actor producer around town, and working on I'm working on a project coming up later that's it's the Scottish play, and we're doing it Halloween style at some creepy location. So more to come on that. But yeah, lots of fun. I love playing with you guys and look forward to making more stories.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Adrian. Yeah, the Scottish play has a special spot in my heart because back in the day when I was doing theater, it was the first play I ever did. As a sophomore in high school, I was in the Scottish play. I got killed 5 minutes into the play. So fun stuff, playing King Duncan. Oh, sorry, spoilers alert. But anyway, thank you so much, Adrian. Jumping on over to the other side with Beth, who played Isra tonight. Beth, you're awesome. It's fun to have you here as always. Tell us of all the stuff you're up to, because you do a lot. So what are you up to out there?
I do some things occasionally. I can be found all over the interwebs at Beth Masco. You can find me at the Wanderer's Haven channel, part of the production team over there, and I play games there too. We have all kinds of good stuff coming up, which other people should talk about.
Okay.
And then I have one more episode of a Lord of the Rings game coming up next Thursday with the Bleak season over at Guild Superior. That game has been just so much fun, and I definitely recommend checking it out because the other players are just amazing.
Your character's adorable in that, by the way.
It's a good game.
I love him. He's a sweet little hobbit, and it's just, it's a dream for me.
Just want to pinch his chubby cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
I know. He's a good guy, and he's a killer too, so that's fun. But this game is a blast. I'm excited to see where it keeps going. There seem to be a few lore drops that have happened, and I need to like tug at every thread. So I'm excited.
Well, I think we will. First off, thank you, Beth. I think we will all see a really big revelation coming up with a little bit more information about the Great Dark next week. So that'll be fun. But Deb, let's give you a chance to say hi to everybody, because you're doing a lot too, Deb. You're out there doing some fun stuff. So what are you up to out there?
Yeah, I'm here and there. I'm Deb. I was playing Flora. I had so much fun tonight fucking with Isra and using my little doll. So great. So much fun. I am also on Wednesdays, not next Wednesday, but starting the following Wednesday, back on Wanderer's Haven with Miko and Beth and Kev is joining the next arc of Eastera, so that'll be great. I'm on Instagram and now Blue Sky at dsweats. So
not Twitter though. Not Twitter.
Not Twitter. Yeah, if you try Twitter, you're gonna find a man from Texas.
That's not Adrian.
Right.
It's not me. It's a good handle though.
Imagine if it was. Wouldn't that be trippy?
That would be trippy.
Deb, thank you so much. You are awesome. You're an absolute pleasure to have here, and I love everything that's going on with Flora. So much fun. Such a great character. So thank you for that. Miko, as I mentioned before, producer on the stream here, doing lots of great stuff. Just the tip of the iceberg of all the stuff that you're doing, because you are huge in the space with the multiple places that you and I are found. So what else you got going on out there?
I mean, I don't know about all of that jazz, but I do produce a number of things. I play a number of things, but more importantly, I like to create things. And if you're at all interested in what I hope to be cool fantasy, high fantasy, homebrew style games, then please check me out on the socials. I am the_KS_GM everywhere that lets in underscores, and without underscores everywhere else.
Nice.
You can find me most of the time over on the Wanderer's Haven channel with several of these fine faces that you see before you. Yeah, I am off next week as I am traveling to Texas to see a man in Texas. But not
also
the...
not Adrian.
Yeah,
or
also
D.
not
Sweats
Adrian or D Sweats.
It's a big state.
Yeah, it's a big state.
It is.
But yeah, we will be picking up Ystera, as Deb indicated, on September 6th for Arc 2 of the Chaos series, as I am dubbing it, which looks to be hella fun. Yeah, can't wait. And then next Friday, jet lagged as I might be, we will be back here to explore these awesome characters. I have loved all of this that we have been doing with Kalim and Flora and Ysra and Cade. It's been amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Jet lagged and a true dead man walking next week. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. Miko's a team player, y'all.
Not only am I going to be jet lagged, but it will have been from a lot of travel with a solo act travel with my 3-year-old. So, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. You got this. I believe you, my friend.
We'll see.
No, you got it. You got it. Thank you so much. Thank you to the four of you so very much. Again, I'm Kevin. I'm your humble Dungeon Master this evening. Also, I am the U.S. Ambassador for Notte Eterna, being the main Dungeon Master here. And you can find me on the socials at KevRan Games. That's on all the socials right now that I can possibly get my hands on, which are a lot. If you want to hang out and see what's going on, you can join up on the link tree. We have a Discord for Notte Eterna. You can go to the website. You can see what's going on. If you want to see me do stuff that's not here, you can check out me on Wanderer's Haven as well. I'm also there with Miko and Beth and Jeremy, who founded the channel, as one of the co-production team members. And I run games over there too. The We Get to Play episodes where we do one-shots of games we've never played before. And those are pretty cool. We just had one that Miko actually ran, which was Cypher System Superheroes, which was really, really cool. Claim the Sky. And that was awesome. I got to be my dream of, I got to finally be a superhero who was a chubby kid, because you never see that. When I was a kid reading the comics, you never saw that, and I got to do that, so that was a lot of fun. But anyway, enough digressing. Thank you all so very much for watching. Can't wait to see you all again next week, and we can't wait to tell more great tales of Notte Eterna. So we'll let you go for the evening. Until next time.
We're rating Fusca.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'm so glad you said. I have a note right here. We are rating our friends Fusca. They tell great, amazing games. You're going to love the stuff they got going on over there. So hang out, check them out, let them know that we sent you so that they can feel the love. Thank you, Miko. And on that note, we will let you go. We will say goodnight. And until next time, may the moon smile upon you. Good night, one and all.